live. There are some things I got to switch on the screen so it looks cooler. It's a mirror image thing. What is up, everybody? We are here, MuseMe TV, episode 161. We have Caleb Mulkey in the house, everybody. You guys know what time it is. Thank you. You guys are awesome. We got Caleb in the studio. What's up, Caleb?
What's up?
Yeah, dude, this is a long time coming, right?
Dude, for real?
We've been like, we got to get you on, and then, since like almost a year ago?
Yeah, and then every time I'm like, for sure, we'll do it next week, dude, for sure.
Then some. And we just party too hard, dude.
Every goddamn, we were literally in your house the other day.
The last week.
Yeah.
Same. This would have been the same time. Got done with the mic. We came over here.
But nope. We just got to keep partying, of course.
Yeah, but no, we're just fucking welcome to the studio. We're here hanging out, chilling. Fucking been going through some crazy shit with now that COVID's starting to loosen, I guess you can say. I don't even know what to say anymore about it, because like
it feels like we're in a weird limbo too, because like some places you don't got to wear a mask, some places you do.
You don't want to be a dick.
You don't want to be a dick. I don't want to be the guy without a mask. I haven't gotten my vaccine, so I just play it safe. I obviously wear a mask.
God damn it.
When I go out. It's not... Listen. It has nothing... I'm not an anti-vaxxer in any way. I'm just lazy as fuck. I don't ever get my flu shot just because I never like do the research to figure out how to.
It's just, yeah, there's too much of... It's too much. Like, it's too much. I honestly feel that we're healthy enough that we can combat it, right?
Speak for yourself.
I mean, you're doing obviously fine.
Yeah, I don't know. And I hate to people that say this, but I'm convinced that I got it at some point. Because I constantly go through phases where I'm like, I'm sick right now, but I just like power through, you know?
Okay.
But every time I was sick, I got the fucking test and it never came through. But right before, like my whole family, like the whole house got sick, like right before it was announced or whatever that it was like a thing, our whole family got like violently ill for like 3 or 4 days, kind of all at the same time.
With some kind of flu-like
something, yeah. And none of us like looked into it because we just dealt with it because, you know, like I'm way too broke to go to the doctor. And like, I'm just like, I'll deal with it. And we came through, and then I never got it after that. And it's not like I was the safest person, you know?
And you don't think like, I don't know, because I don't feel like I'm at risk or anything as well either. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I'm at risk. I like to joke because I'm definitely like, you know, I'm a little heftier, you know, and I'm not necessarily the nicest person to my body, so I can only imagine that I'm not the healthiest person, but I don't think I would have like died if I got it, which is kind of dope. But my little brother's best friend's dad died he got it like right at the beginning, and so I had a little bit of fear about it because I saw it like he was so close to us.
Yeah.
And that fucking sucked.
Yeah, and that's a little kind of worrisome too. Is like, oh man, I guess people do die from it, but are they dying because of it, or are they dying because it kind of enhanced the other sickness that they had that made it worse? I don't know. See, then right there, me saying that stuff is already, oh, this guy is a fucking
could be a problem. But I mean, you still have to think about that stuff. Like, I'm not dumb. Like, I don't want to. I think you're allowed to say shit like that. But also you can't, you know, you can't add on to the back of that, like, so let's party, you know? Like obviously, you know, there's people that just got it and they got some weird version of it. I know there's like the viral load thing, you know, if you get like a bunch of it at one time, I guess, if someone sneezes in your mouth. While they have it, I think, you know, like you get more of it or something. I don't know how it works. I'm not a scientist. Load. Yeah. But yeah, and I tried to be informed and stuff, but I just don't ever give a fuck enough about anything. Like, even the Black Lives Matter stuff is like, I'm all for it, but I like couldn't figure out what day the protest was on.
Yeah.
You know, like I wanted to go. I genuinely did, but I just couldn't figure out when it was going to happen and what time. And then by the time I find out, it was already over.
It was like, God damn it, I miss everything.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'm just fucking lazy, I think.
I don't know about this. That's kind of like, I don't know about the same scenario like happening now, but I mean, is it just that we're just like, I know me growing up, I wasn't really like into so much of the politics and so much in like the council culture and like I still go visit my grandpa and he still has that racist mentality and I'm just like, fuck, man, I don't know.
Yeah, but
obviously I can't get rid of that and I can't tell him he's an evil person because he's not. He's just at a simpler, different, weirder, I don't know, fucked up time.
Yeah, like I think it's because it's the same. Like I grew up. The thing is I did grow up. Like my dad listened to talk radio every morning, like conservative talk radio.
No shit, Tucker Carlson.
My stepmom, who they got married when I was 10. She's like a hardcore anti-vaxxer. She's like, you know, like they're both extremely conservative. Like, you know, they don't think they're racist, but like for sure they've said some problematic shit before, you know, like, and there's a lot I don't agree with them anymore. But when they were raising me, I was all in, you know, like I'd considered myself like a young conservative in high school. And like, I was really close to becoming like the red pill kid that like yells at people and just like quotes Ben Shapiro all the time.
You don't know the frogs are gay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I definitely could have been that guy. And like now slowly, like I feel like I'm, you know, becoming more educated, you know, and getting like a little more, enlightened or woke, I guess, as some people say. But like, I still think, you know, some of the shit's a little wild, but for the most part, like I've, you know, grown so much from that. But it, like those guys raised me. Like I can't fucking hate my dad because he still thinks like that.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I can't hate, well, I hated my stepmom the entire time, but I don't hate her anymore because I don't got to talk to her as much, you know?
Yeah.
Like it just, that.
It was more of an annoying factor. Like she's always around. She's always talking.
Yeah,
That's
for real.
annoying.
Like, yeah, for real. Like you got a shitty roommate. Like the only reason you really hate them is because you live with them and you got to hear from them all the time, right? So it's the same shit of like she's a good person. She was trying to be a good person, but she just sucked at it.
Yeah,
you know.
I wouldn't like Tyler as my roommate either.
Oh, hey,
just kidding.
Listen, it's been a good couple days since he moved in.
That's crazy too to think about. Like, I would have been the first one there because I was planning to move in. I was like, oh man, I'm all the way in Rio Rancho. I really need a place to stay. And Troy's like, I got a room. And I had him write out a contract and everything, dude. I was like, I'm doing it. Let's do it. I'll get $500 and I'll be here within the next 3 weeks. And I kept thinking about it. I'm just like, fuck, man. I remember living with like a roommate and I mean, Troy's older, but still, I mean, knowing that I have another person to kind of accommodate to and stuff like that, that kind of, that kind of worries me a little bit where I'm just like, oh man, I can't fucking stream me singing or anything, or I can't fucking do certain things that I feel like I would want to do by myself. That's kind of awkward.
No, I feel that. Like I've been living with a roommate for so long. Like I lived,
this is the first time I've lived on my own.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. See, I lived on my own right after high school. Well, no, I take that back. I lived with a roommate, and he hated me. But I guess maybe that's why I'm comfortable with living with roommates, because I've never been, like, the responsible roommate. I've always been, like, the shitty roommate.
The one they talk about, yeah.
Yeah, dude, for real. And, like, I don't mean to be. I'm just absent-minded like a motherfucker, and, like, I try as hard as I can lately. I mean, I've grown for sure. Like I'm a lot better at Troy's house for the most part. My room's a mess, but
that's your room.
It's my room, yeah. and I try to clean up after myself for sure. I've left dishes in the sink, and I'm like, and you know, and Troy, like I love Troy, but he's a stickler about a lot of stuff, and he'll get irritated about some stuff that I wouldn't have even thought about, you know. But I'm trying to, you know, be better, but I don't ever. Because I was a shitty roommate and someone called me out about it, I never call anyone else about over shit. Like,
yeah.
Like the only thing I've been irritated about with living with Sam is he eats all my fucking food.
Cheers, Jim.
You know?
Yeah. That would kind of bug me too.
Yeah. But then the solution, I keep my food in my room.
Okay, so here was my problem though. I had a roommate and I was so generous. I mean, you guys see it all the time. I'm always fucking blunt, trying to give to as much as I can.
Yeah.
So I had a roommate where I literally always had the fridge stocked. And I told him, "You can have whatever you want, man. It's ours. That's
Yeah.
why I do it. I don't want to have to buy all this stuff and see you like eating a bag of chips once a night and shit like that."
Yeah.
So I kind of accommodate that. But this dude would not budge, dude. He's just like, "No, I don't feel right doing that. Or I can't do something. Like, I didn't buy it. That's not me." And I was just
Yeah.
like, wow, that's a mentality to get into. Because
That's for sure. I'm kind of like that too.
I could never
like,
imagine. Like, I understand people are really humble and don't want to like. They
Yeah.
can't take it like a giving, you know.
I've always been the guy that can't take the giving, and that's just because I think it's probably the way he was raised. Because for sure the way I was raised, like just like you didn't eat. I couldn't even eat. Like I had to ask to eat at my house. My house was wild. That's just some other shit. Like my parents were just on some other shit all the time, but I had to ask to like get a snack, and they never had good food anyway, so I wasn't too bugged out. But
Yeah, it's not like-
so when someone would buy food, I never ate anybody else's food if I could avoid it. Every once in a while, I'd like break and there'd be a bag of Doritos, and I'd be like, all right, like I'll take. But for the most part, I don't. You know, I have a problem with like taking things from people. You know, even like fucking like any of my dealers or anything, it's really hard for me to ask for a front, but I'll do it. But like I don't like to, because I'm like, you know, it feels like someone's got to go out of their way for that, and I don't want to be the guy that like someone's waiting on me for some shit. Or so I try not to do that. Try not to ask for too much. And like Sam on the other hand is like I lived with him for a long time in an apartment, and he doesn't care about anything, like genuinely. I don't know, like he just doesn't give a fuck about like possessions, like real things. And so it's like a two-sided coin in the sense of like he doesn't care if you like eat all of his food or you like break something of his, but at the same time he doesn't give a fuck about your shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's kind of a mutual thing. It's like, well, we're living together. We're kind of like sharing everything now.
For real. And I would get irritated like about some shit, like, you know, like I'd be, because it felt like he felt entitled to it. But I don't think it's entitlement. I grew to learn it's just like he doesn't care, you know, like he just moves forward all the time. Like he doesn't. So it's not that like he thinks that he deserves to like eat my food, for instance, right? To him, it's just like, it's just food.
We can always get more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's the mindset that he's in. So when he does, you know, like eat my food and I get all pissed about it, he like, it blows his mind that I'm getting pissed about it. Like he doesn't even understand like why I would be like that.
Interesting. That is very interesting, because I feel I have that kind of mentality that where Sam has. It's like, dude, we'll just get more food, or
Exactly,
there's more food there. We'll get it eventually.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, don't trip or anything. So I get it too. Where in the sense where let's just give as much as we can and take, because we're all pretty much giving in the same pot anyways.
Yeah, and I learned a lot from that, because I used to be very like I was like a there's a word for it and I can't remember. It's like when you feel like shit's gonna run out all the time, you know? Like it's, I mean, yeah, that's really what it is. But it came from just my dad. Like, he's a very like money, like he pinches pennies, and he's a very like don't break shit, because like that shit matters to him. Like I spent money on my shit. If you break something, like my dad would scream at me if I broke something. And so then I inherited that from him, where like Sam Sam would break some shit or something, and then I'd start freaking out about it. And I'm like, bro, like, you know, you broke this, you didn't fix it, or like, and he's like, dude, just chill out. Like, we can fix it. Like, we can get some new shit. And I had to learn how to think like that, because I was always like, I spent money on this.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be,
It took
fucking-
time, effort, blah, blah, blah.
But then at the same time, I'm like the fucking messiest human being in the world. So it's like I respect some things, but then some things I'm like, I could give two shits if my cat like destroys this whole house, But
Yeah.
then, so I don't know. It's a whole trip, but
It's a mind complex. in
yeah,
itself.
dude. But I just try, like now, especially, I just try to be like give like as caring of a person as I can, and just be a good person. And I feel like that'll always come back to me, like.
That's a good mentality.
Like even if I mess up somewhere, like I feel like, I can get a little bit of a like people won't be as irritated with me because I'm always willing to help fix it if some shit, if I do something, I'm always going to try to help to fix that problem. But if I, or if someone else does something, part of that is I got to be willing to like let them fuck up every once in a while, and like
accept it and just
don't
roll with the punches.
For real, yeah. It just is what it is, man. And you just got to move forward,
That's life.
Yeah. And something I've been thinking about lately too with the same shit is like when we all get like in the comedy scene, for instance, some people will have like there's so much fucking like stupid like beef and everyone talks shit and like people want to bring other people down all the time.
Okay, wait. With that being said, when did you start in this scene? This Albuquerque comedy
so
scene?
It was my 21st birthday. No, it was the day after my 21st birthday. So on my 21st birthday, I went to there's this pizza place that had like a mic behind it. I forgot the name of it, but there's like it was called like I don't know. I don't even know the name of it. It was the last day they did the mic there. John Cuellar was hosting it, I think.
And when did you do that though? Like 2 years ago?
My 20. So I'm 23 now. I turned 24 in August. So
like 2.5 years, maybe.
2.5 years, I guess. If you don't count COVID, I guess it's 1.5 years.
Okay.
Right. That seems right. I don't know.
So
I always say I'm 2 years in, but
you did make it into the scene though, like more enough to see more of it than I did, because I didn't come in until like, let's just say a year ago.
Yeah, you started like that sucks because you started and then like COVID started.
Not even that. Everything was already done. Like, do you remember going to this basement? There was a comedy basement.
See, I think that's the one I went to. So what I was saying is that pizza restaurant when I first started, I didn't go up on my 21st birthday. I went there because that was the day that Mike. I didn't go up, but it was the last day they were doing it there. And then the next day, that was on a Monday. And then on Tuesday was O'Neill's mic, the one you remember on Nob Hill?
Nob Hill, yeah.
That was the first mic I ever went up at.
Okay.
And that was when Greg was still there. And it was funny because when I got there, one of the rules is no rape jokes.
And see, that's one guy I still haven't even met in the comedy scene.
He left. Yeah, he moved to Austin. He moved to Austin like a couple weeks after I started. Like I didn't know him that well either. Okay. But he was hosting the mic at the time with the other guy. I forgot his name. I'm bad with names in general.
Was it Nick or something like that?
It's
Kevin, Nick.
No, it wasn't anybody.
Any of those guys.
Did you ever go to O'Neill's?
I don't remember. I never went to one.
So then you might not, because he never really was at any other mics and stuff. Yeah, okay. But when Greg was there, he said no rape jokes, and one of the first jokes I ever wrote was the Catholic Church bit where I talk about like how I make money.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of I talk about getting molested. And I went up and I was like, I know you said there's no rape jokes, but I wrote this joke. And like he stops me and he goes, listen, if you have to ask, like, then don't do it. And I was like, well, it's about the Catholic Church. And he goes, well, that's fine then. Yeah. Like that was the exception, was like because it involved the church, but
so yeah, you started in the scene then.
So yeah, that was the day after my 21st birthday. So so I started. So and then I became friends with
Sam.
No. Freshman. Did you ever meet Freshman?
Yeah, he was on my podcast too.
Yeah, so so I became friends with Freshman and Jesse James.
Oh god, no. See, that's a different Jesse James though. Unless it's somebody that I know that hasn't gone. What's his last name? Finley or something like
No,
that.
his I don't know because I met Jesse James. He gave me like a nug at one of these mics, and like he was like, "Do you want to?" Yeah, but he was a fucking creep and a piece of shit. Like, and it is what it is. Like, I and but freshman was cool, and freshman was cool with him. I don't know why. This guy wasn't
I
cool,
think,
but freshman was cool. I liked
yeah.
freshman.
He
Like,
seems like he's cool with everybody. Well, a lot
yeah,
of people.
yeah,
I've
and
heard some people not like him either, though. So that's why
freshman,
that's why I
yeah.
get so confused about the scene. I'm just like, no wonder nobody gets any
It's
spots.
yeah, and it's a lot of the fucking beef is like,
I slept with your bitch.
yeah, it's some bullshit like that, or it's like like with Troy, for instance, it's like there's some people because I'm part of Six Sun that don't want to fuck with me just because I'm like affiliated with Troy. When like I like whatever beef they have with Troy, I probably wasn't around when that beef started to begin with, and like I'm not Troy. Like I get why like he can be problematic. I get like I don't necessarily approve of some of his jokes. I don't necessarily approve of the way he holds himself sometimes, but that's not for me to like. I've already told him what I don't approve of, and he's listened to me, and I'm not. He's listened to me. It doesn't mean he changed or anything, but like
He takes it
it's
into
not.
consideration.
Yeah, and he's only been a good person to me. Like he's been a piece of shit to me, but like not in the like when it comes to like the amount of help he's given me. He's one of the only people that like he let me join Six Sun. He got me on he's got me on like my first shows ever. He's got, you know what I mean? Like that's not something I can just like let go of. And then no one else in the scene and it's mostly because of Sam. Like Sam saw me go up one day, liked my shit, came up to me and started talking to me. And that's how I became friends with like freshmen was like they just liked what I was doing. They came and talked to me first, and I'm socially awkward, so it's hard for me to become friends with people and
Yeah.
like approach them. And so Sam came up to me and talked to me, got me into Six Sun. He asked me to be on UCF like the first day he ever saw me, which was dope. And then I joined, Six Sun. And then the pandemic, luckily, like with the the opportunities that we've had, and like the connections I've built, just like in the back end of the pandemic, I'm finally becoming like more friends. Like you, we probably talked one time before the pandemic.
Yeah. I
But
honestly
then,
thought you were friends with with Royal and Kevin and Nick and all them. I thought you were part of their crew. What are they called? The Party Boys or something?
the pajama party or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
And that,
I don't have any beef with them. I'm not.
you're not part
I
of it.
didn't talk to him.
Yeah, see, and
Yeah.
that's what's so weird too, because going into your first open mic, well, starting to go, I go and check out everybody, and I'm still kind of the lonely guy, and I just see like, maybe you're not their friends, but I see you talking to them for a while, and I'm just like, oh, look, well, there's that crew, and there's this
Yeah.
crew, because you see it too with like,
Yeah.
I don't know, do you remember David Knight?
Yeah, I didn't say two words to that guy.
He was on my podcast too. But
Yeah.
he fucking that's again, there had like a crew. There was a crew of them. Like, oh,
Yeah.
it was David Knight, and you see Swamp together, and
Yeah,
you see
or it's like you got like Josh and Abeda and that white guy. I forgot his name, but I think he's in the military or something. But like yeah, you got these groups that all kind of hang out together, and like I tried to not be the group guy. Like it happened because I joined Six Sun. Like obviously I'm associated with those guys, but I never tried to be like the cliquey guy. And but I kind of relied too much on other people coming to me. And so because of that, Sam was the first one to come to me, and that's why I'm homies with Sam now. And that's but ever since I've luckily gotten to get closer with a lot of people. Like I didn't really talk to Tyler or Jared that much before
even pre COVID
pandemic.
right?
Yeah. And then just because of, we got the chance to start talking and stuff recently, now I'm like good homies with both of them, Same with Eister, like I looked up to him. I thought he was cool. I had conversations with him. He's genuinely always been very like nice. Like when I did talk to him or try to, start a conversation, he's never like pushed me away. And he's one of those people who's like the opposite, I think, of me and you, where like he's not in any group, but he's friends with everybody.
Yeah, until he says a Kobe joke.
Well, yeah. yeah.
Because that sucks too, because, okay, that's comedy, right?
Yeah, dude.
That's comedy.
It is. Like,
but he almost got shunned for it, literally.
He almost got shot
he literally
for it.
had to go he literally had to go kiss ass just to be like, hey guys, I'm a comedian and I'm trying to be funny, but I guess that was not funny to you guys, and you guys are head honchos here, so I have to be sorry.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't even see it that way, I feel.
And that's one of the things too, is like, I think, and that's honestly why I like Six Son so much, is because like I can genuinely say, like, I know there's people that like Troy won't work with, but that's on some personal stuff with Troy. But for the most part, you've never heard him like listen to someone's set or like look at what someone put on Facebook and be like, well, now you're not allowed to show up anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that's okay. Like, I don't think you should be doing shit like that. But like, also like, it's their mic, I guess. They can do whatever they want. They can ban whoever they want. They can, and also I think like if a mic has rules, you should follow the rules, even if you don't agree with them. Like, it just is what it is. Sometimes you gotta, if you're a good comic, you can work around those rules, is what I think.
That's
like,
true too. Like, if you can do it,
yeah,
you should. If you're good enough, you should be able to do it.
But rules are stupid, like with stand up. Like, you shouldn't, because I'm pretty heinous with some of the stuff I say, and like it does surprise me that I haven't been banned sometimes, because like I've for sure crossed lines. I think I did get banned from a mic in Colorado.
But that's kind of weird though. So you did comedy before you came here?
No, so I started here and then I moved to San Antonio for like 2 months and but I had started here already. I just moved back to San Antonio. That's where I'm from. For a couple months, did stand up there, and then I moved back. And then with Six Son, I got to go to like Colorado, which was super dope. Like, and just do open mic. They were doing a show up there.
Okay.
And me and Sam actually got booked on this show in a dab lounge, which was cool. It was like this little like underground like dab lounge where if you paid like $5 for like you donated $5 and they give you a ticket, and then you had to like go to this counter and they would give you like a dab, and it was like the fattest fucking dab. Like, they like scooped it out and it was like this long, and I literally had to share mine with Sam, and they gave it to me like right before I went up, and then I just stared at the steps in front of me and did stand up. Like, as I'm already like monotone deadpan when I do stand up, and that set was just garbage. But it was cool because I was in Colorado. I got to get booked on that shit with them. But
that's dope.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the only out of the state stuff I've done is that one time we went to Colorado, and it's cool. Like, to go. I think everyone should try to, even if like you're not booked on anything, like do mics if you go visit somewhere.
Anywhere,
just do the mic, because comedy's different everywhere, really. Like, even in San Antonio, it's like a different vibe. They still had clicky shit. They still had like the drama, but it was so big there that like you could, like, here it sucks because if you get banned from like if Royal bans you, you're banned from like 4 mics, or like 3 mics or whatever. That's like half the mics. In San Antonio, you get banned from a mic, or one guy doesn't like you and he runs a mic. There's like 40 other mics going on all the time every week.
Yeah, see, that's the big difference, is like the amount of mics that go on. Because I always get weirded out by that too. Is like, I'm glad that there's at least 1 to 2 mics every day, but still, like, in big cities, there's at least 5 to 6 mics a night.
Yeah, and you can at least hit 2 of them, you know? Like, even at one time I did a mic while I was living in San Antonio. I did a mic at the comedy club there. It's called LOL Comedy Club. And then that night, this guy that I became friends with there was like, there's this mic in Austin, and if we leave right now, we can make it. And I did so bad, but it was like a heckler mic, and it was like a black room, and we go there, and I couldn't get 2 words out, dude. Like, I went up on stage, and it's just like a bunch of fucking black dudes that are all very good comics and like good roast comics, and you would just go on stage and they would just roast the fuck out of you while you were standing up there, and you had to try to do your set. And I was like a month in,
And it was
you
just
know,
horrible,
like
yeah.
yeah, dude. But it was cool. Like, it was cool to be able to do shit like that while I was living there. Like, I could hit up all these different mics all the time. There was always something going on. And here, like, if like tonight a mic got canceled.
Yeah, the only mic.
The only mic tonight got canceled. Now I don't get to do stand up, and now I got to do a podcast with Angel.
Yeah,
you know?
so that's why we're here. Like, we literally would have got done with the mic and then came here and done cocaine, but
yeah, something would have happened, and we would have been railed or something. And
but
then
instead,
we
it's
can't-
just like,
yeah,
no, we just got to come here and talk.
for real, which is cool. I'm actually happy that it worked out the way it did. Now we get to do the podcast. But
I got homie in the chat, Douglas Mikes. What's up? Thank you for joining. He says, guys, talk about how COVID was leaked from a Chinese lab. Do you even think that was a possibility?
I think well,
A lot of people say it is. Even top scientists say it is.
yeah, I think it's possible. Like, I think, like, here's my theory. If it did happen, like, I'm one of these people where, like, I read the conspiracy, like, I am a little bit into the conspiracy theories and stuff, but I don't really hold any of them. I don't think I think all of them have a little truth, but they're never 100% true. So, like, I think with the COVID stuff and the lab in Wuhan, like there was a lab in Wuhan. Like, I think it was proven that they were studying the coronavirus in that lab. Like, did they put it out, or did, like, someone just fuck up? You know, like, maybe someone legitimately just fucked up. And then, like, China, like, not the people. Chinese people are great, but the government fucking sucks. Like, everyone knows the government sucks.
CCP.
Yeah.
Chinese Communist Party.
Yeah. Like, they for sure suck. Like, and they for sure could have covered up. Like, they weren't going to be like, we fucked up and created like a fucking world altering pandemic. So, like, I think if anything, someone at the lab fucked up. The virus got out. They needed someone to blame, so they blamed it on the wet markets. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a bigger possibility than, like, fucking Bill Gates.
Or China did it to, like, maybe for the 100-year plan. I don't know if you've
for
ever...
real. I've heard about that. But
you don't... This can... Maybe, no, who knows? But that's the thing, is, like, it's more... I'm kind of with you on the whole accident thing myself, too, because if it really was kind of brought out to, like, fuck with the world, like, what really did it do, though? Like,
for real, dude. And here's the thing, is it's affecting, like, it obviously wasn't meant to hurt the United States, because Japan's still dealing with it real bad right now. India's still dealing with it real bad right now. I don't know if they're homies with China. Maybe they aren't. And that was part of the point, was to destroy those places. But, like, I don't think it definitely affected the U.S., like, you know, in a crazy way. Our economy isn't doing great. Like, but, like, at the same time, like...
And a lot of people say, too, that it kind of did kind of fucked up the election as well, because after Biden got presidency, so much more leniency came after that.
Yeah,
so much more.
Oh yeah, and I'm convinced. I mean, I'm not. I would have voted for. Well, I wanted to vote the Libertarian Party, but, like, I think the COVID stuff and, like, all the Black Lives Matter stuff and the police brutality stuff, like, I got kind of convinced to vote for Biden just off of the, like, fuck Trump kind of thing.
Well, I don't even vote. There's no point.
I didn't want to vote, and
there's no point.
I'm just, like, a follower so much that I was like, fuck it. Like,
that's how shitty this place is sometimes.
For real,
is
though.
that they make you feel bad because of those decisions.
Dude, like, for real. But I voted Libertarian when Trump won, and people want to blame, like, but here's the thing, is when Trump was running against Hillary in 2016, I was living in Texas, like, so Trump already had that vote. You know, it's a conservative state. It always has been, like. and I was in a liberal city, but I was like, I want the libertarian guy to win, or at least I want like more. I thought like if I voted for the libertarian candidate, it would at least, if enough people did, they would eventually start to get recognized as like a legit option, because I think like this two-party bullshit is so stupid. And I'm not even like a staunch libertarian. Like I kind of agree with you know, free healthcare. Like I think that's, you know, should be something we can do, and I think we can do it better than a lot of the countries that we look up to for it, you know,
or
like,
that we make fun of for it.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm not, and I'm, you know, and I think like there, you know, we should be as free as we can be, but I think there are some limits to some things. Like I'm not, you know, I'm not stupid, but at the same time, like the Libertarian Party was the largest third party at the time, and obviously Republicans aren't doing too great, and fucking Democrats haven't helped us too much either. So like look at fucking Biden now. He's not doing shit that he said he would do. Like they put weed on the back burner because they said they didn't have enough time for it, which is awfully weird since Kamala was, you know, the one that like put all those people in jail. And
that's what sucks too, is a lot of those people now, oh man, just with time transitioning, it's like not even 6 years ago there's people that have been fucking prosecuted with those shitty ass charges, and now
dude,
they're in fucked up spots.
I'm so happy I'm white.
White privilege, dog. Use it.
It's real, dude. And that's another thing. Like I am fully aware of white. Like I know white privilege exists. Like I've seen it firsthand. I had a friend. My roommate was a black kid, and he grew up he was adopted and, you know, into a white family. His mom and dad were extreme Republicans. His mom actually was like the lady that like ran the Ben Carson campaign in Texas. Like
Jesus.
Hardcore. But like it doesn't matter how like conservative your family is. Me and him went out to, I think it was still while we were in high school. We were at like a museum or something. We both had hoodies on. We both had our hoods up, and they literally stopped and asked him to take his hood off. Like I was, you know, that's like, and they didn't say shit to me, you know, because I looked like a responsible white kid, you know, but who knows what it was? I'm not going to say that. Yeah. I'm not put that on that person, but for sure,
you cannot say that there's those obvious, that they do those stereotypes all the fucking time.
Yeah, like it's real, and I'm not stupid to it, but also like I very much understand that like I'm not going to have white guilt either. Like I'm not going to fucking try to make other white people feel bad because they have white privilege, and, you know, like, oh, you should be doing more, because it's like, what am I supposed to do? Like fucking like suck Swamp's dick every time I see him?
I know, right?
You know, like
he gives us the pass on the N-word.
Hey,
how are we supposed to? How do we deal with that? When
dude, I just fucking.
We go into a comedy garage and he says we can say the N-word.
No, he doesn't say we can say it.
No, he does.
He says, no. He says it's disrespectful if you don't say his full stage name, which is Swamp That
N-word.
Yeah, like, so, like, well, you know, what are we supposed to do about it? Like, I just choose not to say it. I think that's okay, but I don't think, you know, if he fucking says you've got, you know, you should say it, then I guess do it. I'm not gonna fucking.
That's weird.
But I'm not gonna, because I'm smart.
That's weird.
You know, but.
Let me shout out Douglas again. Douglas, he said Biden is more interested in flirting with 9-year-olds. And the cover-up is bad as the cause, whether it was international or not. And I think it was talking about the COVID when we were.
Oh, okay. Yeah, dude. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I'm sure you've researched it more than I have, so I can't really talk on it, and I'm not gonna look stupid. So.
And then Douglas as well. The social justice movement is about revenge, not equality.
Come on, guy. Like, I think there are people that are taking advantage of it for sure. Like obviously, I'm a stand-up comic. I've said some gnarly shit. Like It's not like I'm fucking bending over backwards for them, but like you can't also say that like you can't deny that there's been some fucking misuse of white privilege before. There's definitely police brutality happening. There's, you know what I mean? Like there's some good things that came out of it. And like it was going to get extreme because there was people that saw that, you know, when the social justice stuff started to happen and when it was still like a good movement, you know, there was people that saw that it was actually, we were making strides in it, and they wanted to take advantage of it. And now that's how you get these like fucking like, I guess, alt left people, you know, like you're gonna have these extreme people that take advantage of any type of a movement, you know, you're gonna have people that do that. But I think on the overall idea of social justice, or the overall idea of like being politically correct or whatever, like it's supposed to be more about like just be a good person. Like don't use the left being a bunch of assholes to justify you being a piece of shit because you know you want to say the N-word, or you want to fucking treat, you know, like I don't know, you want to justify your racism or something, because you definitely see that. But I don't know, like I'm so like uneducated about all that too. Like I don't want to speak on it because I kind of agree. Like there are people that are using it for revenge, but I think like the general populace, like even just within the stand-up, everyone I talk to in stand-up, like for sure there's some crazy liberal people in the stand-up that are banning people for fucking making the wrong joke or whatever. But for the most part, like, you know, we all disagree or agree, but no one's ever like fucking told me to shut the fuck up. No one's ever told me to stop saying what I'm saying, because everyone's kind of decent. Like just be a decent person and you know, move on from it. I think the fighting, it's reactionary on both sides, like, and everyone wants to be right so bad that they're willing to hurt people for it, you know.
And that's what I kind of heard with I think Chris Rock said it, where it's like cancel culture now is kind of just like making comedy not funny anymore, like really shitty not funny, and to the point where like they tell us to stop, they tell us to shut up, they tell us to get off stage.
Yeah.
But back in the day, or even in general, it should just be the reaction of that joke. Like literally, you sitting there, you say a joke, it kind of bombed.
Yeah.
And that's it. It moves on.
And here's the thing too, is like if you look at the old comedy, like everyone was laughing at the racist jokes. Everyone was laughing at the homophobic jokes because at the time that was okay. And now we know it's not okay to say shit like that, and it's not going to be funny because we're dealing with like we've you know, like with the George Floyd shit, like I feel like you can make a joke about George Floyd. You can make a joke about it. But if it's not funny and it's racist, it's just racist and it's not funny, you're going to fucking bomb your balls off. And then that's how you know it wasn't funny, you know? And then if you keep fucking doing it because you're so convinced that like it's just these fucking woke liberals that are the reason that my jokes bomb. It's like, no, you're just fucking not funny. It is what it is. But at the same time, like, there's so many woke comedians I've seen go up there and just try to be so like you know, confrontational and not like, and they're trying to be so woke that like they just aren't funny, because sometimes you gotta talk about the shit you have to talk about the shittiest stuff and try to flip it and make it like funny, because that's what comedy is. It's taking the shit that's happening and making it funny.
Yeah, it's like putting an awareness on it.
Yes, like when I talk about the Catholic Church, like I talk about the fucking Catholic Church, and like there's atrocities that happen in the Catholic Church. Like kids were actually being raped. You know what I mean? Kids were actually being molested. I was legitimately an altar boy for 7 years. I was never molested the entire time I was there.
Allegedly.
As far as I know. I guess you can forget that stuff apparently, but I don't think I was ever molested, genuinely. Because because I think I'd have way better jokes about it if I was, you know. I got one, you know, I got one good one, and that's
all.
it. But when I do that joke, like it's because I'm aware that that shit is real, and it sucks that it's real. But I want you to laugh about it. I want you to like realize that everything can be funny. If my mom dies tomorrow, I'm gonna grieve for a week, and then you're gonna hear me talk about it, you know, like, and it's gonna suck. And I don't want her to die, and I never wish that on her. But like, it's something that as a stand-up, I feel like I would have to talk about it, you know, like I would have to try to turn that into comedy because that's just what I do. And if you take that away from us and you make everything offensive, because here's the thing is like cancer jokes are kind of funny, you know, but like people have died, people's families have died from cancer. I'm sure there's people that hate to hear those jokes, but like everyone else that, you know, like everyone else can hear those jokes and it might be cathartic for one dude, and that, you know, his mom died of cancer and I make a funny joke about my mom dying of cancer or something. What if that is what he needed to hear? What if that's what, you know, to lighten up his fucking situation a little bit, you know?
It's more of like, again, the awareness of those awkward situations or those
for real
hard times.
Yeah.
So you can't really deal with.
Yeah. For real.
Douglas went pretty crazy in the chat again.
Dude, he's
statistically a black man in America is more likely to be killed by another black man than a cop.
Okay, hold up real quick. Let's talk about that for a second. So obviously,
he already
if you're in a community, if a bunch of Mexicans all live in the same spot, then,
like right now, today, or in this area, statistically, an Hispanic will probably kill Hispanic.
Right? Like, it's just because that's in poor black communities.
That's what happens there.
Like, and let's talk about, if you want to talk about that, let's talk about the fucking crack epidemic that happened, that we all kind of, it's been proven that the CIA was like dropping crack into those communities and causing that. And now you created a bunch of drug dealers. And then we found out they dropped weapons in those communities. And now an entirely black community is selling drugs and then fighting over turf to sell those drugs. Like, of course it's going to seem like, or it's, of course the statistics are going to show that black people are killing black people, but we're talking about, when they talk about like cops killing black people, it's because of everything else that happened to cause the situation for those places to become violent. Like, let's stop acting like, you know, oh, well, those places have always been violent. Like, no, look at history. Those places had like kind of flourishing economies and shit. And then white people weren't cool about it. And so they fucked it up. And now those places lost those economies. Like, do the research. That's crazy.
That's like who wants to live in a shitty ass neighborhood? And then that's where crime kind of happens.
Yeah.
If you don't rebuild it or kind of make it better, it's obviously going to stay the same and shitty as fuck. You see it now in the international district.
Yeah, for real. And you see in every place that's ever like, something had to cause that economic destruction. Like, something had to cause the economic destruction of those areas. Part of it was because they weren't allowed to have a good education. And like when they did the separate but equal, if you ever like look into that, what the separate but equal thing was really they you know, technically they were supposed to, like, the black schools were supposed to get all the same education resources that the white schools were. That was like the propaganda that they were pushing. But what was really happening was they were getting like the old books from the white schools. They were getting like all the old shit. There was no money there anymore because like black people weren't allowed to earn money. And so that they, you know, the taxes, they couldn't pay enough taxes to make the schools better. So now you can't educate the black people. And what happens when you got a bunch of dumb fucks? They're going to do dumb fuck shit, like kill each other and, you know, be violent. Like, it just is what it is. Like, it's definitely, like, the root of the problem is still that we were racist at one point and black people did not have the jump start that white people did.
Because technically, you still see it still has that poverty kind of stricken feel to it, but it's not as racist anymore because you still see all so many people in the ghetto that are of all races, but those people are what come together. You're gonna
Yeah.
get, if you go into the ghetto, me and you go into ghetto, we're gonna get robbed by a white ghetto guy. We're gonna get robbed by a
Yeah.
Mexican ghetto guy.
Because they all live there.
They have that niche in that community. They built it that way
Yeah.
there, and that's crazy to think about. That like in wherever they go, just like somebody like in Nob Hill getting shot by a cop shooting a black dude. What if he was more of the sense that it was something bad that happened in that? Like,
Yeah.
again, we're the area that we live in, and what is portrayed all the time, minorities are always kind of put in that situation where there's like in a negative aspect. But again,
Yeah.
if you have cops drawn in a very poverty-stricken place, of course they're going to shoot and want to kill more there.
Yep.
Compared to like, oh, over here we hardly ever get any crime.
Yeah.
And we know there's black, Mexican, Asian community people that live in this community, but we'll still be a little more lenient with drawing our weapons here
Yeah.
compared to over here.
For real. That's it too. And truly it's because like think about it. If like not as many like if you're in some suburban area where everyone has great jobs, like the mortgages are higher there, that means that the taxes they pay are going to be higher, which means that the cops there are going to get paid more because the cops make money from taxes, right? So you go to a extremely poor area that's a mostly black area, and a lot of like they just have less taxes coming in. Well, the cops there aren't going to make as much, which means that when people become cops there, you're not going to get the good cops going there because the good cops want to get paid good. So they're going to work in the places that pay them better. The cops that are going to those places are the ones that are the cowards and the fucking pussies that like, you know, just wanted to become cops and fucking fix the problem or whatever. And they go there and they're not getting paid good because no one can fucking pay taxes because everyone's fucking poor. So now you got pissed off cops that aren't getting paid enough and that aren't educated to deal with those issues. So now they're going to draw their weapon and be a little more shaky, you know, in those areas because like it's a lot bigger. Like I'm not saying that every single cop is racist, and I'm not saying that it's white people's, like every white person, you know, is at fault for that for sure. But like, let's not act like the root of the original problem was because at one point we put all the black people in one area and said, y'all get to live there. We're going to live over here. And that area just didn't have a big enough economy to sustain to sustain growth and educate the people. And then that's how you get the violence and the fucking, you know, drugs and all that crap. Like no one's saying, like Douglas, no one's saying it's your fucking fault, you know? But like when you take it as it's your fault, when you hear that because you don't do the research and look, and you don't look a couple years back and see how it started, then just realize like no one is saying it's your fault, but also like have a little empathy for those people because like we got a jump start. Like I lived in a kind of good area when I was in San Antonio. I got a better education than like people that were living in a poor area. And like I know that for a fact. I can, you know, because the taxes didn't pay for the schooling there.
Yeah,
but
it's more populated.
Yeah,
there's the crowded or just not one-on-one kind of connection.
Yeah, it's
Douglas, I'm not white.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm. You know,
Whatever.
that it wasn't an assumption, but I'm just saying like
Mexican, Hispanic, Asian.
Yeah, like if
minority.
If you're. And maybe even he's not rich or anything. I'm not trying to make assumptions about Douglas specifically. I'm just saying like.
But with that aspect of where the police brutality and stuff happened, I think it's more because of poverty-stricken areas. And unfortunately, there are minorities there, but they can't. It's not in a sense where there's not every race of poor people there. Because I'm pretty sure if it was the same aspect in a poor neighborhood, if a white dude just came running after a cop and it was in the ghetto, they would probably shoot him right away, just like they would have if it was a black dude or a Mexican or any of those.
Oh, I agree. And for sure it's still happening. Like if you look at like when it really comes down to it, like I think there is racism. I do think that like you still have to acknowledge that like we kind of started with slavery. You have to acknowledge that aspect. But what you're saying is right too, in the sense of like the poor white communities it's like a class thing more than anything. Like the rich people essentially, because they can pay more taxes, pay cops to keep poor people out of their communities, whether it be a black poor person or a white poor person. Like, you know, like that's why, like, when you see homeless people, they're living near highways and shit. Like, they're not fucking in like well, I guess they are in the heights out here, but Albuquerque's like all poor. But
yeah, and it's so small too. Like there's certain areas that can't be.
But you don't see as many poor people in Rio Rancho. That's a good, you know, like you don't see as many poor people in Rio Rancho. That's because the fucking people that live in Rio Rancho, because they all pay a bunch of fucking money and they all make a lot more money than, you know, people out here do. You're going to see a lot less homeless people because the cops there are getting paid better, and the cops there, that like the people there expect the cops to keep the fucking poor people out of their community. Like, it's a class thing for sure. Like,
and there's probably more laws over there than associate with homeless and stuff like that
for
too.
Real,
like, hey, bro, you're loitering. You're starting to just sit around.
And when you can afford to pay a speeding ticket, you're okay with putting speed traps, you know, because you're like, I can pay for the $100 speeding ticket if I speed, but if a poor person speeds and they can't pay that ticket, well, guess they got to move or go to jail.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not like they'll be driving down this road
exactly,
again.
exactly. Like, it's definitely a class thing, and I do agree with that. Like, that's why it's so hard. Like, I do seem liberal because I am trying to defend the liberal point of view a little bit, just because it seems like Douglas is coming from the more conservative point of view. But I promise you, if whoever was commenting was saying some dumbass liberal shit, I might be on the other side of that shit.
But again, too, I'm on that sense where, like, I don't want to be considered one of the two sides.
Same.
Can I not be as centered as possible, or just be like a neutral party? Like, in a sense where even in certain situations of when it happens, I'm pretty sure certain aspects of what the party believes in is acceptable at that time. But I'm not trying to always abide by that when it needs to be done.
Yeah. And also, no, for sure. Yep. Like, I think that there's some bullshit on both sides for sure. They're both trying to, also, they're both just trying to get your money. They're both a bunch of rich people that are just trying to get your money one way or another. Like the, you know, Democrats act like they're trying to take care of, you know, the poor people, but like, what has Biden really done to do anything like that? You know, like, truly. Like,
that's like all presidents, though.
Yeah, and I don't think me saying that about Biden, and the same thing is, like, I don't think Trump would have done anything about it either, because he's the same, you know, like, he wasn't trying to help poor people either. Like, you know, like, they're just trying to make their bag, and they'll do anything to do that, you know? Like, you heard about the Bill Gates stuff? Yeah. With Melinda and Bill Gates, they got a divorce.
And it's, I don't know, is that the stuff that's tying in with Epstein and shit?
Yeah. Of, like, I'm not saying that Bill Gates was a pedophile, but he was homies with a pedophile, and let's not act like he didn't know about what the fuck was going on. But Epstein wasn't he like the money guy for all these rich people? Like, he was like their accountant or something, or like he ran a hedge fund or something. See, this is how uneducated I am. I don't even know.
I mean, he's just a dude that knew a lot. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's a badass.
Yeah.
Like, in the sense where he...
Clip it.
In a sense where he took what they needed, and he totally was just like, hey, guys, I fucking control your money, and I can fund anything. Like, I wonder if that guy actually had ties with, like, Russia and shit like that.
I mean, he definitely probably did. Maybe not even Russia, the government, but definitely, like, there's some rich, like, you like in New York, for instance. I think I heard Chris DiStefano or one of those guys talking about like, the reason rent's so high in New York isn't because there's a bunch of rich United States citizens that own shit. It's like half of the apartments in all of New York are owned by foreign entities, and it's so they can launder money. So they'll buy an apartment that is a, you know, for $40,000 apartment, but they'll buy it for like $2 million because they need to put $2 million somewhere, you know, something like that. And so then all the rent goes up in there. So for sure, like, he probably had ties. Epstein had ties with foreign entities or something, but like it may have not been Putin, but it definitely could have been like just the richest guy in Russia or the
That
richest guy in
owned
Dubai.
buildings everywhere
Yeah,
and shit like that.
and that's why like with there's he had like climate change scientists, like a bunch of like the scientists that were working on climate change were all on the like list for the Lolita Express, like the plane list that of people that like took the plane to go to his island.
Oh yeah.
Like, and everyone wants to be like, well, look, like all these scientists are pedophiles, and I was like, not necessarily. I bet what happened is he invited all these fucking nerds to come party, and he took a bunch of pictures of these nerds there, and now he's blackmail, and now they got to do whatever the fuck he says because he knows that when he goes down, they all go down. So like even with Clinton, for instance, of like it. Bill Clinton for sure could be a pedophile, but like if there's not enough
He
proof
is
necessarily
such a
to say
pedophile.
but there's not necessarily enough proof to say that he is.
Yeah.
So let's say he isn't. He still is there. He still has those weird ass fucking paintings of him at that place. Like he probably took pictures with Epstein. Like Epstein was just a sociopath and he was smart, so he knew that he was doing fucked up shit, and he knew that anybody that associated with him when he went down would have to go down too. And if you can become friends with the most powerful people and put them in that position, now you can kind of run their shit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, that's why I think like I don't think everybody that was involved even knew what was going on. Like I think some people didn't even realize what the fuck was going on. Epstein just knew that if he became friends with them, they're already compromised. They're already, and he can kind of run their shit and tell them what to do and stuff. So I think it's a lot more complicated than anyone wants to admit, and it's way easier to just be like, either they're all pedophiles.
It was a cult or some stupid shit like that.
Yeah, I don't think, like, with all the conspiracy theories, it's the same shit of, like, I think, like, my conspiracy theory is that all conspiracy theories are half true. I just, like, for instance, the Illuminati. I don't think there is someone trying to... I think there are people trying to rule the whole world, but like, let's be honest, the amount of manpower it would take to like keep that amount of secrets, that's insane.
Like there has to be a war between the United States and China.
Like that's scary. I don't want to think about that.
But there's no way that they're in cahoots to control the world together.
Yeah, they want to control the world together, and I think the reason there isn't going to be a war, like I genuinely don't think there will be a war, and for one reason.
That war, dude. I want war.
I don't know. I'm not trying to fucking...
China is like so scary at the point where they want to be the best in the world. And
true, and
they just can't accept that we did something good, and they're just like, oh, great.
Well, okay, we did. Past tense, did something good. China is running shit. When it comes down to it, the U.S. fucked up with the tech. Like, genuinely. Even if it's not China, like, all of our tech advancements are coming out of Taiwan. They're coming out of China. They're coming out of Vietnam and Japan. Like, the Eastern world runs tech, and tech runs the world right now. Like, it just is what it is. Like, there are smart people in the U.S. Obviously, Apple came out of the U.S., but, like, let's talk about fucking Samsung. Like most fucking Android phones are made overseas and were created overseas. Like we're not. We do have a bunch of tech, and I fucking believe in our technology and stuff.
We're good, dude. We have Silicon Valley,
but we aren't the leaders in tech.
Okay.
Truly, we don't even manufacture any of it. So even if let's say
all we need is a blueprint. Here, guys,
sure,
here's the blueprint.
But let's say China is like, we're not making your shit anymore, right? But we owe China how many billions of dollars? Like, and they're like, we're just not going to make your shit until you pay all that money back. So either one of two things: we go to war with China, or we find a way to fucking quickly manufacture millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of technology.
We'll find another country,
I'm sure, but like we kind of owe every country money.
No, Because China is doing that. They're trying to actually get into a spot where they own more of South Africa. They own more of the African nation than what Africa does.
But China also owns like a fuck ton of our real estate. Like China owns like I don't know if you can Google how much land China owns in the United States, but it's a lot.
Land China owns in U.S. And to be fair, that was the third thing that came up on the Google quick search. For its part, China owned. It says 191,000 acres worth 1.9 billion as of 2019. This might not sound like a lot, but Chinese ownership of American farmlands has exploded dramatically over the last decade. There has been a tenfold expansion Chinese ownership in farmland.
So they owned 100 or how many billion? But then you times that by 10, so 10 billion, right? 1 point something billion.
1.9 billion.
So it's like 10.9 billion if it's by tenfold. Like they own so much of this fucking country, and no one wants to like we're like I don't think we're all gonna be speaking Mandarin, but for sure like our shit's run by China.
I think we have too much of like an influence on everything that they can't. Like they want to be us so bad.
They do. Yeah, no, but that's the thing is like I think that's the reason we're kind of stuck with the situation we're at is because like China makes everything and China has like the technological advances, but then like America culturally is more relevant in almost every single country in the world than China ever has been. Like in almost every country, like we influence them culturally, you know, like look at fucking Japan with the fucking rap movement in Japan. Like that's rap started in the US and now Japan's like one of the biggest places for rap music.
Almost all of the like music cultures are there now.
Yeah, and it's all US based music shit. Like
pop.
Like K-pop, like we had pop. Koreans were like, let's make K-pop. And now K-pop's huge, but like K-pop isn't. It's still pop, but it's in Korean.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it just, so yeah, culturally, we're way more relevant. Like people don't like, I don't think the entire world wants to, that's why I think it's hard because it is China versus the US who runs the world type shit. But like, when it comes to like the sneaky, like analytical bullshit, China's kind of got that a little more. But when it comes to like the cultural relevance in the entire world, it's the US. Like it just, I don't know. But also, I don't know shit, dude. I'm telling you, like I don't read most articles.
This is all
I half read everything.
This is the thing that people should understand too. It's more of like an opinion based of how we believe in these things, like why we believe in them, even if they are false and misunderstood. Yeah. How it is, like, dude, that's how we've grown up to learn this stuff. Like,
yeah, dude. And it's also weird because it's like conservatives and liberals alike can kind of all agree that like the school system in the United States failed us.
Yeah, dude.
So incredibly, like, and that like the reason I kind of, because I used to be so into politics, genuinely, like I would read everything that was coming out, but then I realized that makes you the biggest loser in the world, and it does. Well,
not anymore.
Here's the thing: is there's a lot more people involved in it, but like if you're the guy, like at least in my world, like if you're the guy that like cares too much about, or not cares because everyone should care, but if you're the guy that like is fucking on top of politics, that means you're not on top of like the shit that people my age care about. Like, and like I don't like to be the fucking like political pundit kid. Like none of my comedies about politics. Like I just try to stay out of it because it fucked my shit. I got so into it when I was into it that like I'd lost friends and like people just don't want to talk, didn't want to talk to me. I'd have like, and the thing is it's because I would read everything. And so then I would have points that conflict with other people's points all the time.
Yeah.
It's because I'd read both sides and I'd fucking, like, that's why, like, with the Douglas thing is like I get where he's coming from. Like, I understand, like, I've heard all of those points before. But also, like, I've read the other side of it, and, like, it's not as simple as, like, fucking the social justice movement is just revenge.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, there are people that using the social justice movement as revenge, but, like, some people just want to have a better world. And, like, we need to stop acting like every single person that wants to be a better person has it out for you because their idea of being a better person is different than your idea of being a better person, And that's why when I talk about, like, I wish that I backed up so much from politics is because, like, I got so into it that I thought I knew everything and I'd start fucking, like, losing friends over some bullshit because I thought I was right all the time, And that's why I fucking just
do comedy now.
do comedy.
Do comedy and cocaine.
Yeah. But also
party, everybody.
Damn right. Party on. And honestly, I feel like I party so hard now too because I do think we are going to go to war. Like, deep down, there's a part of me that's like, this shit ain't going to last. Like, something's coming. Like,
I feel, okay, here's another thing too. I feel something is coming. Why the fuck is the government revealing so much shit about UFOs right now?
I'll talk to you about that.
Why?
What is going on?
Because it's okay. Even for the longest time, it's crazy talk, crazy talk. But you can't deny it now. Like, fucking government officials are saying it's real. There's nothing I can say that it's not. I don't know. I'm not saying it's an alien. I'm not saying that, but
there's stuff out there that we don't know what the fuck it is, and it's flying.
Yeah,
like,
it's flying right past us, guys.
Yeah, dude. And, like, here's one of those things. So, like, Joe Rogan had the Bob Lazar guy on.
Yeah,
you probably looked into that. So I used to be such, like, a Joe Rogan stan that, like, when I'd watch stuff on Joe Rogan, I'd talk to people, and I'm like, yeah, this guy, like the Bob Lazar guy on. And then, like, I finally was like, fuck it, let me look into this Bob Lazar guy, and, like, there's a bunch of stuff
that shit about Bob Lazar.
That's what I'm saying is I don't want to. I never wanted to.
Just kidding.
I never wanted to. Like, I think his story's super cool, and there's so much of his stuff that is accurate. Like, but, like, if you kind of look into it a little bit farther than just, like, from Bob Lazar's point of view and Joe Rogan's point of view, and you kind of look into, like, just the inaccuracies in some of his stuff, and, like, and you listen to, like, scientists that aren't going on Joe Rogan to talk about aliens, like, there's quite a bit that just doesn't hold up. That, like, I'm not saying that he's wrong necessarily, but, like, let's not just don't
suck his dick.
Yeah, and that's what I noticed. Yeah, for real. That's what I noticed with all the Joe Rogan stuff too. Is like that's why I'll still listen to him, but I'm not gonna rep. I don't rep him nearly as hard as I used to, just because I'm like you. It's still like someone's opinion, and it's still a point of view, and like you got to be smart about it, and you got to like and that's why I think when people are like everyone's trying to cancel Joe Rogan, like, I don't want to say this, but I kind of get it, just in the sense that, like, it's not Joe Rogan's fault, but the people that, like, are way too into Joe Rogan, like, make it their fault. Like, they make it seem like it's his fault because they do take every word Joe Rogan says as, like, factual and true. When, like, I feel like most people that I've talked to about it, like, are smart enough to realize that, like, he is just a comic that's fucking around on a podcast and just, talking about what he's interested in. But, like, I've talked to people that are Joe Rogan, like, diehard fans that, like, you try to argue any point that Joe Rogan's ever made, and they're like, well, you obviously don't listen to him. Like, and I'm like,
that's
fuck
stupid
you.
too, because he's even said himself, like,
that's
hey, don't listen. I'm just spewing out what I think, what I believe. Sometimes I don't even believe it at that time. My opinions change. Mm-hmm. I get it.
By the way, I don't think he should be canceled.
No, obviously not.
Like,
no.
I genuinely don't. But I get the frustration with him, because I bet there's people that have dealt with people that like Joe Rogan a little too much. And I've dealt with those people, and they're dumb. Like, some of them are just fucking stupid. Like, and they...
Have you ever heard of this guy named Red Bar? His name is...
Oh, yeah. Is he the guy that does the... I feel like I saw him recently. He does, like, comedy. Like, he, like, talks about trying to canceling comics all the time.
Yeah, like a bunch of comedians like that.
Yeah, because when the Tony Hinchcliffe thing came out, I Googled it. Like, I heard about the Tony Hinchcliffe stuff because I'm on, like, the Dallas Facebook page.
Yeah.
So, like... Yeah, this guy.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. I listen to this guy because he tells you everything opposite of what Joe Rogan and them say.
That's smart, yeah.
And it's funny because it's like another perspective of it. Like, okay, if I take Joe Rogan's shit seriously to heart and I listen to this guy and get offended by what he says,
then something's wrong.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's the best way to it.
Yeah, because I agree. I've never listened to him. I just don't like people that
I think he's funny as fuck, man. I love his shit sometimes. There's been so many times he just does stupid bits where he calls in just restaurants where he's like had a bad order and he wants to talk to the manager, but he does it in the most fucked up way. It's just like, oh, wow.
That's funny. I've never listened to him long enough. I always just see him when I look up like.
And to be fair, you know how long his shows are?
If you type in any comedian and then you put canceled after it, he's like the second video on it almost always. So, and when I see that, I'm like, ugh. Like
his videos, he doesn't post anything on YouTube or anything. He does his own website. He has his own website where he posts his own videos.
So someone else posts all his clips and shit on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
His podcast is 8 hours long. He does 8-hour episodes. He's a beast.
Maybe I need to start listening to him at work.
just something that pass time,
background noise, yeah. Because that's what I do with podcasts. What I'll do usually is if I like a podcast, I won't listen to it for like I try to like save like 5 episodes of a podcast so that I can just listen to one podcast all day at work. You know, like I'll bank a bunch of episodes, and then I'll listen to like I like Tim Dillon a lot. I think he's funny. I've always thought Tim Dillon's like if Rush Limbaugh was joking the entire time, you know, because he has a very like conservative talk radio cadence, but like he talks shit about every single person, whether you're a conservative or a liberal. If you fuck up, if you're acting dumb, Tim Dillon's gonna fucking make you look dumb. Yeah, but yeah, I'll have to look into more of that Red Bar guy. It's just I always see him under the like canceled stuff, and
everybody hates him though. A lot of people do hate him.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
if you're that guy, he's kind of like the Keemstar of comedians.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And even though he makes fun of Keemstar.
Good, because that guy's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, he makes fun of all those internet dudes.
Yeah.
H3.
He's made fun of them. I used to be so into H3.
They're still good. I still listen to all their stuff.
I just can't watch the fucking... Trisha Paytas, like, I'm sure she's gotten better. Like, I've watched the clips, and like I just listened to Tom Segura had Ethan on today, I think.
Oh,
and
really?
I listened to it, yeah. And he, you know, Ethan likes Trisha, and I've always liked Ethan.
Is it the Tom Talks one? Or?
Yeah, no. It's the Two Bears.
Oh, okay.
It's just because Bert isn't there, so I guess he's having people fill in. Like last week it was Bert and Steve-O, and then this week it was Tom Segura and Ethan Klein. But like, and I've always liked Ethan because I think he has like a...
And his beginning videos, YouTube videos are fuck. Come on, dude. Vape Nation.
Vape Nation. I have this, the Santa Claus. Have you seen that? His merch with like a Santa Claus with a vape on it?
Yeah.
That literally was like for the Christmas I got it, or I got it like real early in a winter one year. And then I literally just, because I was broke, I didn't have any other jackets, I wore that Vape Nation shirt or like pullover. Like that was my jacket. Like everywhere I went to church with that shit, like with my parents. Like that was my fucking jacket. But yeah, dude, I loved all their old shit. I just like the internet drama stuff, like the vlogging. Like I could give two shits about Jake Paul, you know, and I could give two shits about like fucking David Dobrik. I've watched David Dobrik's stuff. Like his vlogs were actually kind of funny. I thought he was a good guy, and then all that shit came out, and I was like, well, it makes sense. Like everyone's a piece of shit if they're famous now. Like you can't. I'm sure Joe Rogan's been a piece. I've heard him be a piece of shit before. Like and I still like Joe Rogan, you know, but I don't know. He just got too into the internet. Like I used to like Philip DeFranco too, but then like I don't give a fuck about the new famous people on YouTube. Like I'm still just on the old people that I liked back then.
Yeah.
Like back in the day. Like, do you know Ryan Higa
I
or
don't.
Niga Higa? No. Okay.
I
He did like back in the day, like way like it's got to be like 2009 or something. He did the like how to be a ninja, how to be a rap or a gangster, how to be like those videos.
Okay.
And I haven't watched any of the new stuff, but like I liked his stuff, you know, fucking Kasim G, these guys. Yeah, that guy Ryan Higa, he was good. Kasim G. Kasim G has a podcast now. I don't know if you've ever heard of Kasim G. He did these shows called California On, where he would talk to like people on the Sunset Strip in California.
Interesting.
Super problematic. He'd definitely be canceled if anybody found those videos. But he has a podcast with the two kids from the fucking Sopranos.
Oh shit.
Yeah, which is wild. But yeah, I don't know. The new drama that's happening.
You just have to find it though. Like, okay,
Yeah.
have you ever heard of the All Gas No Break?
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, see,
Andrew Callahan.
He's new, man.
Yeah,
see, that's one of those.
But that's different though, because it's good.
But I don't know if you know. Did you know what happened with the whole controversy?
Yep. That's why I said Andrew Callahan, because it's not All Gas No Breaks
yeah, it's
anymore.
Channel 5.
Like,
well, that's where the new stuff is being broadcasted to on that channel.
Yeah.
It's called Channel 5.
Is it?
That's what the
I
YouTube
thought it was
channel.
I thought it was just Andrew Callahan. I haven't seen his new stuff yet.
You should,
after
dude.
All Gas No
It's
Breaks.
so killer. Okay, so one of the newest episodes blows me away because it's fucking talks about two white trash redneck dudes.
Oh, I love that shit.
But it's like their life in the ghetto, and they
Yeah.
are loved by the black people, dude. It is crazy. I was just like, see, dude, this isn't exactly a good example of like
Yeah.
if these two guys were to come at cops in that neighborhood, they probably would get shot,
too,
quick.
yeah.
And that's no fair because that's just not the aspect of white privilege there. You can't put that card all the time.
Yeah, and I think that's where, like, with the white privilege shit, like, when I talk about white privilege, I just really mean, like, I grew up in, like, a stereotypically white household, you know? Like, those guys grew up in, like, a poor neighborhood around black people, so they're going to have the mannerisms of, like, that, whatever neighborhood they grew up in. So they're going to be, you know...
Yeah, see, that's what it is.
Yeah, I'll have to Channel 5 with Andrew. I didn't know he started a new YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch up.
That's so crazy,
shit.
though. I can't believe that he got in some shit with the All Gas No Breaks. Like,
They just fucked him. I think he signed the wrong thing.
Yeah,
right?
he just didn't read it. He was just so ambitious. He's just like, oh, yes.
But that makes sense. I feel like I probably would have been in the exact same position, because he literally was like, all I wanted to do was travel the United States in an RV, and the guys promised me an RV, and he was like, I'll sign the, like, I get it. Like, genuinely, like, I probably would have been in the exact same position. And so I think hopefully he can bounce back. I think he still technically gets to do the Absolutely deal he had with the Tim and Eric guys.
Okay.
They have Absolutely, and he's supposed to have like a show that he's making with those guys that they're producing or whatever for him. But yeah, I think he fucking had a dream and someone convinced him that they'd give him that, and then he got fucked, because that's how this shit works.
Yeah,
you know?
but that's a good example of like YouTubers that are still there, but they're hard to find.
I think, and that's what it's not that I don't not like new shit. It's the new shit that like Ethan's like the people Ethan's talking about aren't the like the people that he's always talked about were people I didn't fuck with. But like back when I first got into like the podcast and stuff, they were people that I knew about already and the fuck shit that they were doing already. Yeah. And now he's talking about new fuck shit. Like he'll be talking about like some TikTok star or something, and it's like I don't like my TikTok's like like I'm on TikTok. I love TikTok, but like I'm definitely not following any like of the most famous TikTokers.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know who's
following,
famous on
yeah,
TikTok.
I'm just following like the people I find funny and
People
the
that are
people.
famous on Instagram or like every other
Yeah,
place.
like
That's why.
I don't even follow like on Instagram. There's some like models that I follow, like or some like fucking just girls that post booty pics. Like, yeah, of course, but like I don't read the caption, so I don't know anything about them. Like,
Yeah.
they're just fucking hot, and if that's misogynistic, I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
He's just being truthful,
Yeah,
ladies.
like it's. But I don't. I don't know. I just don't really give a fuck about the stuff they're talking about now. And then like Trisha, the other thing is with H3H3, like Trisha Paytas.
I don't know why they brought her in though.
The living same. She just annoys the living fuck out of me. And I don't think I'm not trying to say she's a good person or a bad person. I'm just saying her voice like makes me want to put a bullet in my head. So
I feel like there's something weird going on in like a weird sex kind of thing.
well, I think it's just because she's like
Her brother, right?
She's like dating
Ela's
brother,
Yeah,
so
which
like
I
they're
think-
kind of stuck in that position, and like, and then of course like they did the Dr. Drew shit, and I bet like it might also just be because like Ethan seems like he has a pretty strong moral compass, and he like saw someone that it was like hurting, and he might just give a fuck for the first time, that like in Trisha's world, like he's the first person to be like, you know what, I'll give a fuck. Like I'll try to help you be a better person. Like, and like it made content, and so now he's gonna keep doing it. Like I don't think, but I don't have to watch it, so I won't.
I don't know though. See, because there was this one episode where they were like really upset with each other, where she even like stormed off of the set and everything.
That's what I was talking about. Because after that, they did the Dr. Drew one.
Okay.
They brought Dr. Drew on, and Dr. Drew like tried to talk him through, or he did talk him through and like explain to Ethan like all of her fucking mental issues, that she was like has all these issues. Because I watched that one. I like when Dr. Drew breaks down people's mental problems. Because I just found out that like I wasn't a bad kid. I just was like living in a fucking shitty situation and didn't know how to. So like I just started like getting interested in the fucking mental health shit. And Dr. Drew's kind of smart about it, and I can't afford therapy. So like
That's the best way.
yeah, so I'm just learning from the internet how to deal with some shit. But
And I'm not trying to read some fucking text of somebody from BetterHelp.
oh fuck that. Also, BetterHelp like doesn't take my insurance. I signed up for it.
Oh, really?
They're
like, unfortunately, we don't take this.
yeah, and I have fucking. I think I have Blue Cross Blue Shield. My dad's paying for my insurance, but I'm 23. I got 3 more years of that shit.
Yeah, you're one of the lucky ones. I don't even. Insurance is just like gambling, though. I don't believe in it. Cause
Health insurance, like whether you believe in it or not, like
it's gambling, though.
it helps.
Well, I mean, okay.
Well, it's gambling, but you take care of yourself, bro. Like,
yeah, but that's still bad. It is
Like-
bad not to have it, but it's still like again in this
yeah,
situation.
I don't think you're wrong not to have it. I'm just saying, like, you ever get cancer, you're fucked.
But wouldn't I be able to sign up for it then go?
No, because then it's a pre-consisting condition, and they won't cover it.
I'll find a way.
Yeah, probably.
America will find a way.
Yeah, America's way is like put a bullet in your head or go to jail and get the fucking system to pay for it.
Or get like tax. No, isn't there that thing where they can't really neglect you from some kind of treatment, so they'll still at least give you something?
Yeah, but I think
Bare
like
minimum.
technically, like I think like
Chemo
they're
injections
supposed to,
at least.
No, I don't even think they have to give you chemo. I think like the idea is like they have to keep you in the hospital, but like if you can't afford chemo, they'll just like keep you there until you die. Like it's just fucked. Like I don't think like I think.
So is your bill paid? No. Oh well, here's a little bit of morphine.
Like here's
You're
morphine. Here, like we'll make you feel better. We'll give you like the fucking. You get like a little 22-inch TV to watch Dr. Oz on, and like hope you have a good 6 months.
Yeah, buzz when you want some Jello.
Yeah. But like if you want to fucking recover from it, don't expect anything.
Don't expect anything without a payment.
Yeah, that's why I think so many people died of COVID. Like. because like there were so many people without insurance that got it that like, yeah, that's why the hospital filled up, because they have to take everybody, because that's what, you don't pay your hospital bill till after anyways. But like if you don't have insurance, like you're not going to get the good COVID drugs. You're going to get like just whatever they got, the state hospital got, and that's why like state hospitals fucking suck, and private hospitals tend to have better shit because they only take insurance. So yeah, I don't know. It's all fucked. I just know having insurance has been nice, and
used it.
I've definitely used it to my advantage. Yeah.
That's playing your cards right.
Fucking damn right, dude. Damn right.
That's some funny shit. So yeah, fucking. We did have a lot of people that were chatting in between here. BMK Blue Games. I don't know if you're still here, but what's up? Thank you for joining. Ryan Hart. He's like, whiskey and weed, my favorite. LOL.
This is, yeah.
Cody Playroom Guest says, hello, my sexy people. And he was just chatting for a little bit.
Oh, dope.
And Jenny F says, what exactly do you look into about Lazar?
Oh, Bob Lazar? Oh, I couldn't quote exactly. Like I said, I'm not informed.
It was all stuff that I heard on the Joe Rogan.
It's either I heard it on the Joe Rogan or
No, he did have his own documentary. So.
I watched that with my brothers. I also have like the worst memory. So like when I talk about shit and people are like, well, where'd you get that information from? I'm like, I don't know. I just read it one time.
I think it was something I read.
Yeah, like it was just on some article or something. Like I don't.
You didn't even read it. It's
like I think you should always be skeptical, and people need to stop just accepting. Because Joe Rogan it's easy to accept a lot of stuff that like from the people that Joe Rogan brings on, because he is he's reasonable when he talks to people. Like he is skeptical. He will ask questions. Like it's easy to just accept like that perspective. And on the same side of like, if you don't listen to Joe Rogan, whoever you listen to, if you like them a lot, it's easy to just be like, well then they're the right ones.
I get it, yeah.
But like I just always try to I just don't believe anybody, and I believe everybody all at the same time. It'd be super dope if the Bob Lazar stuff, everything he said was true, but like don't just accept it because like he,
went on Joe Rogan,
or he had a documentary, you know what I mean? Like, because that's how you get yourself in trouble when you realize it isn't true later on, like maybe we fucking find out it is true, and that'd be super dope. Because some of the stuff I heard about him when I first heard all that Bob Lazar stuff, and I got really like I watched the documentary when I heard about it, and like was looking, and I was like loving all the Bob Lazar stuff. Like the reason I liked it was because it was so intriguing, and it was so like the idea that there are these fucking crazy like spaceships on Area 51 that he was working on that like warp gravity. Like that's insane. Like that'd be so dope. But at the same time, like I don't want to get my hopes up, and if it's not true, then I'm gonna be real disappointed. So I just always allow for it not to be true, Yeah. Because that guy knows more than me. Like, you know, like I'm not gonna say that he isn't true, but yeah, I don't know. I just wish people would be a little more accepting that not everything they hear is correct, and not everything that the other side is saying is wrong, But yeah, I have no real strong opinions about anything, genuinely. I think my only real, like the strongest opinion I have is you should try to be the goodest person you can be.
Look at this guy. Dang, give this guy a medal, everybody. He's fucking he's out there.
You should be.
No, that's true though. I mean, it doesn't it's way, I feel it's way more, you get more out of it when you're a nicer person and you give more than end up being
Yeah.
so vindictive or hateful or anything that's just so negative in an aspect.
Yeah.
Positive vibes all day.
Positive vibes, for real. And if you're like a good person to someone and they're not good back to you, it doesn't mean you weren't a good person. It means they weren't a good person.
Yeah, or they just have other things. There's so
There's
many fucking
there's
things.
so much shit going on in everyone's head, and there's so much like ideas that everyone's accepted or everyone's heard. We've all watched and listened to so many different shits that like who knows if you're right about some things or I'm right about some things. Like I just have to accept that like you read what you read and I read what I read, and like that's the only information we were given. And hopefully like when I bring something up, you can, if you're interested in it, go look into it. Don't just deny what I said because you already heard the the conflicting opinion about it. How about you just go do the research for yourself and see, you know, and like
a level-headed conclusion.
Exactly. Yeah. Like don't, and also like I try not to make anybody my enemy. Like even people that are the most woke people in the world that hate all my comedy, like they might have a reason to. Like it's not my fault they hate my comedy, and it's not their fault that they fucking have the opinions they have. It's whatever they were fucking
the situation that they were brought up
Yep.
in. Whatever
Yep.
the simulation played for
Whatever
them.
fucking Facebook article showed up in front of you.
Right. To turn you into what you are today.
For real, dude. For real. Like I literally read an article about how cocaine was good for you one time. And I was like, that's what I'm going off of for a while. And then obviously it's not. Like
have you ever seen there's a Joe Rogan podcast
with the dude with the dreads?
Yeah.
The doctor.
You could have said black guy, but that's okay too.
Well, I mean, white people can have dreads too.
But yeah, Carl Hart. Dr.
Carl Hart,
yeah.
Like I listen to his whole shit. He hates Dr. Drew more than anything, and I listen to both of them.
And that's the beautiful thing too, is like he's so much of an advocate of just like, dude, drugs just are a euphoric experience that somebody themselves can experience.
Yes,
everyone's individually different. Like,
for real,
don't get
dude.
me
We
wrong.
could talk about drugs all the time. I love that shit. I love Hamilton Morris's take on drugs because he's very I don't think he necessarily identifies as an atheist, but he thinks of it as like all drugs are just molecules that affect your brain. And like when you give with the LSD, one of my favorite things he talks about with LSD is like the like trippy heads that try to convince you LSD is this fucking god, like you meet some type of an entity or it's some spiritual thing. He's like, if that's what you're getting from it and it helps you, good, sure. But he's like, but when it comes down to it, LSD is a molecule and it affects your brain a certain way. And your brain's such an incredible machine that it allows you to have that experience. And it just is what it is. Like when people say I don't fuck with stuff that's not natural, I'm like, well, like it's still just the molecule that is affecting you. Like just because it was made in a lab does not mean like just recently you fucking put me on the third season of the Hamilton Morris, that first episode where he talks about the psilocybin
where he fucked up,
or not psilocybin. Yeah, he fucked up in the first season with the toad.
Yeah.
The DMT, MEO DMT, I think.
Is that guy where?
Yeah, but his whole thing was like, we need to stop fucking with these toads, and everyone was like, well, if you make it artificially or you make it synthetically in a lab, then it's no longer like that spiritual experience because it's not from nature. And he's like, well, it's still just a molecule. Like you're still just getting the molecule from the toad. It's not the toad that gives you that experience. It's the fucking DMT molecule that affects your brain in a certain way that causes the experience that you're having. And so, like, let's not fuck up these toads' lives and let's make it synthetically. And, no matter what, if you go into any psychoactive experience with a negative state of mind, you're gonna have a negative experience, because thoughts are just chemicals also.
That's crazy to think about too, is like your ideas and your patterns or whatever, that's just a chemical reaction going on. This movement is all just the brain power of the chemicals moving through the neurons, just sparking up at that right time where they're just like, oh, guess what, we have to actually transfer iron and neutron and move your arm for you.
For real. Like I have ADHD, like clinically, like I was diagnosed with it, and I'm very aware that ADHD is just like a dopamine efficiency. Like I'm always chasing dopamine, so it's hard for me to like if something isn't making me happy, like if something isn't giving me the dopamine, then I'll get bored of it and I'll lose interest and I'll move on. And that's the reason that's what causes people with ADHD to be distracted and they can't sit down long enough at school or whatever, because like if I'm sitting there listening to a teacher talk and she gets boring, well guess what? I'm not listening to that teacher
I'm
anymore.
doing something else.
For real. But like I also understand that it's just a chemical, and that's why I'm okay with like getting a Ritalin prescription and taking Ritalin, because it helps me deal with that, the dopamine problem, and then I can do my job better. I can fucking interact with people a little better. I can do even like stand up. I'll take sometimes I'll stay completely sober, won't smoke weed or nothing. Take my Ritalin before I go on stage and have a great set, because now I can kind of focus on my set and get up there, And I've done great sets without it, but I've noticed like when I'm trying to learn a bit or something, it's way better for me to just take my Ritalin and go up on stage. And then I've noticed like I'm not supposed to. Hopefully my doctor isn't listening, which he probably isn't, but I'm not supposed. I've given my Ritalin to other people.
Jesus.
And yeah, dude, I'm a fucking criminal, dude. But it'll fucking blow their balls off. I'll hand them like a 10 milligram Ritalin that doesn't, like in my head, when it comes to like the like high of Ritalin that people seem to feel, I don't get the high of it. It just makes me normal. Like it puts me in the middle. But like I gave it to Sam, and Sam was like, I could not fall asleep. Like it fucking hit me so hard. I was like fucking, it was so hard to deal with, like the Ritalin, and I was like, dude, it was 10 milligrams. So, like, what are you?
It was a baby
about?
pill.
It was a little baby pill.
It was
like,
a baby aspirin.
And he took like a quarter of it, and it fucking tripped it. And I take one like every day.
Yeah.
And even since I started, like it's never affected me in like a
hyper
nerve wracking way, like some crazy way. It definitely,
tweaking.
I've seen it help me in the sense of like I've been able to do shit that I didn't never been able to do, like sit there and pay attention. But like, so it's because it's all chemicals. That's just the chemicals my brain needs sometimes, and it works out for me. And I get why other people shouldn't be on it and might get addicted to it just for the high of being on it. Like I can go a couple days without it and not get withdrawals or anything, because it's not like I'm not chasing a high with it. I'm just doing it to fucking like clean my room every once in a while, or like go to work and not like get distracted, and it takes me 10 hours to do a job that should take me 3 hours to do or something.
Yeah, zone out and shit like that.
Yeah,
that's prescription medicine for you though.
For real.
But they did kind of make it to a point where like I guess it's an opioid problem though.
Well, yeah, like the opioid epidemic, that was just fucking doctors trying to make bank.
And that's what sucks too.
Yeah.
Because that gets pushed in with all prescription drugs.
Yeah, like when you hear when I like I like to make jokes about me being addicted to Ritalin. I like making jokes about me being addicted to Adderall or whatever, because it's funny, because like the common perception is that it's like when you hear Adderall and you're not someone that's been prescribed to it and realizes and you have ADHD and you know how it affects you, if you're just someone that like has taken an Adderall one time and it made you feel a certain way, you're gonna have that perspective on it.
This guy's a junkie.
Yeah, like this guy's a junkie. He like who needs Adderall? Like, and people think like ADHD isn't real, and I'm like, I can tell you for a fact, I can literally like, I didn't do that many drugs in high school, and I was just as like fucking manic and like I couldn't pay attention to shit all the time. Like I had the same problems I have today with it. Like it's a real thing, the ADHD. It just as like if you say depression isn't real to someone, like the whole world will blow up and be like, what the fuck? You can't say that. You can't say shit like that. And it's like, well, it is, but it's just a chemical in your brain. It's not like a personality trait. I can't be like the ADHD guy, but it's something I do deal with. So I'm gonna talk about it when I'm on stage or whatever.
And it's crazy to think about too, because I remember South Park had this really funny episode where they were giving kids that were hyper Ritalin, like as just like kind of like the opioid crisis,
Yeah.
where they're just giving it to kids, and yet the cure for it was good old fashioned discipline,
Yep.
where they just hit the kid and be like, "Shut up and listen."
Yeah.
And then and then he does it to the next kid, and then right when he's gonna go to the third kid, the kid's like, "I better shut up and listen," because he hit the other two. So in that aspect, though, I mean,
Okay, listen, I can also say
it's a
some people just need to be checked.
It's a chemical thing, though.
Yeah, for real.
There is something chemically in your brain that has you actually where you lose attention and you're just like, I'm not into that no more. I want to do something else. Or
Yeah, and also you're not born with it either. Like, I bet, like, if I was, if
you're not born with it.
you're not born with ADHD.
Oh my god, what?
No, you're not. I mean, there's some things you are born with, but like depression isn't one. ADHD. You can have genetic predisposition to it for sure, but like your environment still, it still depends on your environment on how hard it affects you.
Okay.
So I guess you can't. Yeah, I guess you can be born with like ADHD in the sense of like if it's a genetic thing in your family, you can have it, but like for sure a lot, like it's been proven like a lot more people have ADHD now, even the ones that like, even if like they didn't do the research for it back in the day, like there's still more people with it just because like the environment we grow up in allows for distraction so much. Like we have screens everywhere, like there's fucking 20 screens in this room right now, like you can get it later on in life just because of your environment or whatever. And if you're not treated real early on and they don't find out about it real early on, you can, cause like I didn't get diagnosed with it till I was a junior. That's why I'm still dealing with it right now.
Oh.
You know, like, so I think like it's a little bit of, and I'm not saying that kids with ADHD should be checked. What I was saying is there's some kids that I don't think have ADHD or I don't think have like bipolar. I think there's some people that are just pieces of shit and they've never been fucking checked before and they need to be checked.
See, and that's what kind of sucks too, is because with our medical system, it turns it into more of like, hey, this kid has never been checked.
Let's put them on a bunch of pills to fix the problem. Right. Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, and that's why it's the same thing as like the liberal Democrat thing of like it's way more complex than just like if you take medication, you're a bad person, and if you don't take medication and you believe that there's like you should have just spanked your kids a little more, you're a bad person. It's like there's a little bit of both in the sense of like if they had found out that I had it way earlier, then I may have been able to go to either therapy or like they could have found other ways to deal with it than medication. But right now, medication's the way that I have to deal with it. But I'm sure there's other people that know better ways of dealing with it. So, I should be eating healthier. That's another way I should be dealing with it, but I'm not. So
I got to go ahead and read this because Carl Bomber Burleson is getting mad.
Okay.
He did say ADHD is a chemical imbalance, and then he's like, do you even read comments? So yeah, I just had to read that.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Carl. Sorry, we were in the conversation.
That's what we said, though. I said that it's a chemical imbalance.
Yeah,
it's a lack of. I think it's dopamine, but it could be serotonin. They both make you happy.
Douglas is still here. He said, "What is the best movie filmed in New Mexico?"
There we go.
Army of the Dead was awful.
It was.
I didn't watch it. I didn't want to watch it. That's how bad it was.
So garbage. Like here's the thing too is like if you get like I did watch it. I watched it. I think last week or something.
Horrible. Batista sucks.
It was. You think Batista sucks?
I think no Rock. Stop trying to be the Rock.
Okay, first of all, I think The Rock sucks more than Batista.
Fuck you.
Personally, I think Drax, the character Drax, is better character than any other character The Rock has ever played in his entire life.
Are you really dissing on the Scorpion King?
I will die
the
on that
Scorpion King,
Yep.
dude. He did so well in The Mummy Returns that his only.
I haven't seen The Mummy Returns.
Okay, so this is the
Maybe
thing.
I should watch it.
Okay, and The Mummy Returns, that's where he had his first role, okay? He was actually the Scorpion King, where they're like, hey, we have a small role for you. Let's have you be the Scorpion King, and all you have to do is say a word in another language and tell the army to fight. That's all his scene was. And they were so impressed with how well he did. He got his own fucking movie called The Scorpion King with 2.
I have never heard of either. I've heard of.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
No,
No, I'm not 21. Why did I say that? Listen, I always say I'm 21 because like that's the only age that mattered. Like,
at that time,
you know, and I'm
It's still-
23.
still
Nothing
only matters.
interesting has happened from 21 to 23. So but I'm 23 now.
But yeah.
But yeah, so I don't really give a fuck. And the only real movie I've seen outside of like the fucking Fast and the Furious shit that he was in was Central Intelligence, and that movie was garbage.
What
So
else too? He was in Jumanji.
I saw those all sucked. Both of Jumanji's were garbage movies. And I love Jack Black kind of a lot. And
He ruined.
like it's just I think The Rock, like I guess I'm not a wrestling fan.
If
Yeah.
you smell.
So I don't give a fuck about the like wrestling persona of The Rock. So in my mind, when it comes down to 2 wrestlers that have been in movies I've liked, Batista has been in gross of 2 movies.
Hulk Hogan is the only guy you should care about in
I like Hulk Hogan.
in that roster of professional wrestlers that
But
went to movies.
has he acted?
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan?
a lot.
What has he been in?
Have you ever seen a movie called The Three Ninjas? It's old school, but
I haven't seen most movies.
that's an old. You should watch it.
I haven't seen like the Titanic.
It's a really good movie. It's super old school. It's about 3 young kids that are fucking like white kids that end up learning karate, and they fucking end up being called the Three Ninjas. It's like a little kid, like almost like a fucking Homeward Bound kind of movie.
That's weird. That's weird.
But
It's older, huh?
yeah, oh dude, it's in the 90s, like straight up 90s. But
Yeah, see, I was born in 97.
why would
guy.
you not want to watch that? And
I
this
will
one-
watch it. I'm just saying, like, of course I haven't.
of course, I just have it.
Like,
But he was in this one. It was actually number 3.
3 Ninjas. You know what? I think I have seen that movie.
You probably seen the first one or one of the earlier
Because
ones.
this scene right here looks very familiar. Is that from that movie?
Yeah.
I think I have seen it. But like I saw it when I was like 4, maybe.
Okay,
You know,
this is another shitty thing that I hated about the comedy scene is like, so you remember when Lloyd Lee came? Do you remember Lloyd Lee?
yeah.
So Lloyd Lee came, and obviously that guy was a heavy hitter, right? He had a lot of cred.
Well, he'd been around.
Yeah, he's done a lot or whatever. The heavy hitters from here wanted to associate with him right away,
Yeah.
which are like Josh and
Josh Abeda.
Josh Abeda.
No. Josh slash Abeda.
That's beautiful though. That's like a Japanese shipping, you know, when
Yeah.
you ship 2 characters together.
Josh
Like
Abeda.
Josh Abeda.
And here's the thing, too. Real quick, I want to say some shit about Josh Fournier and Zach Abeda.
Well, before you do,
Motherfuckers are killers, and we need to stop like all this fucking bullshit that happens that everyone talks about, like, oh, they win everything. It's like, yeah, guess what? They win everything because they're better than you.
they have more fans.
They've been doing it longer, and they've fucking cared a little bit more. Like I get why you would be pissed because when they show up, they always like win.
Yeah, what does
But
it say? Don't hate the
maybe-
player, hate the game.
Exactly. If winners win and losers lose. If you want to be a loser, then hate on the winners.
Right.
That's it.
They motivate me to be more like Ricky Bobby.
Well, yep.
They're not Ricky
Yeah.
Bobby, but I will be.
Talladega Nights is a movie I've seen multiple times.
That dude.
I'm gonna get a
anything-
Talladega Night tattoo for sure.
Yeah, dude. And those 2 guys together do some great movies.
Yeah,
What
dude.
the fuck's the other guy's name?
Will Ferrell and wow, I can't believe I can't remember his
Yeah,
name.
because he's not that famous.
He's not
He's not, but
he's Will Ferrell's friend. It's kind of like every guy that's ever been in an Adam Sandler movie.
yeah, there you go.
You know. But anyways, what were you saying about Lloyd Lee with the?
Oh, so when they first all came together, they actually wanted to consider themselves the Three Ninjas because it was Lloyd Lee, fucking Josh
that
Fournier.
seems a little racist.
That was actually very cancel culture at the it should have been at the time.
But here's the thing, it's not because none of them are white. Like Josh is native, Zach is Hispanic, I assume.
I'm going with that. I'll go with Hispanic.
Hispanic, and then Lloyd Lee was obviously
Chinese.
Was he Chinese?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. It's so funny. Anybody that's Chinese, I'm never gonna guess Chinese first.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Yeah, like
doesn't that feel okay? That and North Korean.
Yeah, well, that's just like a matter of elimination. Obviously, it'd be wild if you met someone from North Korea.
Okay, but what if it was a refugee?
That's what I'm saying, though, is if you met someone from North Korea, you need to become friends with that guy because he's got stories.
He's seen it all.
Yeah.
But would there be those? Could there be those families where it's just like, hey, I'm third generation North Korean. My families came, and now I'm here.
They were here before, well, then they would just say they're Korean because it wasn't North Korea until after the war.
Oh, okay.
So they wouldn't be North Korean; they'd be Korean. They just lived in what is now North Korea. You know what I mean?
It's not to say like some of them might have fled like 15 years ago.
Yeah, well, true. I guess here's the thing: is I've never met a North Korean, so it just seems like such a off chance. Like if I ever met a North Korean, that motherfucker, I'd have a conversation with that guy. Like I would need to know what the fuck. Like North Korea, like I kind of want to go to North Korea just to see some shit. That's why I'm one of those guys that like I say this all the time. I'll never do it, but like I wanted to join Scientology just to as a bit kind of, but just to see what the fuck's going on inside of Scientology.
Or like the Mormons. Like I can't believe Evan has still stuff he doesn't know about certain levels.
Mormon shit, yeah. And that's one of those things with the Mormon shit is I've met Mormons. I have this friend that he was in ROTC with me in high school, and he was Mormon.
Why is there everyone in ROTC?
Mormons, that the FBI specifically hires Mormons.
Yeah, because their language capabilities.
Their language capabilities and their ability to keep secrets.
What, really?
I dated a girl in high school that I took, I think, to my fucking freshman year dance or whatever. Her mom was in the FBI and she was Mormon. They hire the FBI and the CIA hire Mormons because the language shit and they can keep secrets and they have kind of more because Mormonism was a United States born religion. It was born in the U.S. They have they're very patriotic people.
Interesting.
Yeah, but one of my homeboys when I was in ROTC was a Mormon and he wouldn't cuss and we'd always be just say fuck one time for me, just give it to me, bro. We'd always try to get him to cuss all the time. We'd literally fucking cup check his ass all the time just to be one day you're gonna break and say some wild shit. And to the credit of him, he never did.
That's where I feel like Evan
commitment.
Is not a real Mormon.
That's the thing is I think we all give Evan. I'm gonna defend Evan for a second.
All right, give him a shout out,
yeah.
Evan
Millett. I want you to know if you're listening.
If not, we'll tell him to listen and he'll listen.
I'll send it. I'll just clip this and send it to you. I want you to know, Evan, genuinely, that I think, or not. I don't want you to know, but I want everyone to know that we talk so much shit on that guy. Everyone says he's judgmental and he needs to stop being a Mormon and he needs to stop believing what he believes in or whatever. And I'm sure, because I think the Mormon shit is wild too. I genuinely do. I think most religions are wild. The Mormon shit's extreme.
It's just
it's just some weird shit. Yeah.
If you put it on a tier list, it's an S.
But I get it from his perspective because I was Catholic, and if you're not Catholic, Catholicism seems fucking crazy. It seems like some cult shit. Like Catholics genuinely believed that the fucking when they would pray over some bread that it became the flesh, the human with DNA and everything, Jesus's flesh. Like, that's crazy. Transfiguration, wild. So I get that aspect of it, and everyone's like trying to get him to fucking convert and become like an atheist or stop believing in Mormonism and move on to some other shit. But I think a lot of his personality traits we need to stop attributing to like his religion and realize that he was born into a wild religion, and he has Asperger's, which he's told everyone. Like the Asperger shit influences some of the shit that I've seen him say way more than any Mormon shit. Yeah. It just happens that it comes out as it seems like it's Mormon shit because you've met more people with Asperger's than you've met Mormons, probably.
And not to be a dick, but it's a great cover up. Like it
is.
It's a great way to not feel more entitled for your sickness than, hey,
for real. Yeah, no, I agree.
This is the way I am.
I agree. Like I don't think he's even trying to be like a judgmental person. I think he just like hasn't like partied as hard as most of us. And he shows up to these things where most of us are partying like motherfuckers.
But that's what's weird.
And he doesn't do that. Like it's just he wants to. Oh, for sure. I can. Bad. Yeah, for sure. I can.
But for whatever reason, there's something that's not letting him wanting.
But it's the.
See, that's where it is. Is it the
Mormon?
Asperger's,
I think
or is it the Asperger's?
Personally,
or is it the Asperger's or the Asperger's?
Personally, and I don't even think he'll agree with what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it, is I think it's the Mormon religion taking advantage of the Asperger's. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not necessarily they were specifically like, he has Asperger's, let's take advantage of it, but it's like Asperger's, the whole deal is that he can't understand nuance. Like he doesn't understand when we're being like he gets a little offended when we make jokes about him. Like, and it's not because or it is because he thinks we are offending him, but it's not because
he just doesn't understand it.
It's not not because he thinks you're a shitty person. It's because he just doesn't understand it, because they don't like people with Asperger's don't understand sarcasm that well, because they take everything at face value. At what you said to me is what you said to me. Like if I ever make like the Tourette's joke, which fucking bombed so hard, and I think it was some of the best shit I've ever said, but it's whatever. When I say liked it. No one liked it, not even a little bit. But when I say like the Tourette's thing, like I'm on your podcast now. Like, you know that I was just fucking around with you. When I fucking roasted the fuck out of you the other day, you still let me come on, because you know that I'm just making a joke. It was the best joke I could come up with at the time. But for Evan, because of the Asperger's, he thinks that we think that about him. And then we reinforce it by saying, well, fucking stop taking everything so literally and stop being a piece of shit and stop judging. It's like, you're not helping you're reinforcing the idea that we don't like him. Because with the joke you made originally, he thinks that you don't like him. And then when he takes the joke wrong because you don't realize he has Asperger's, and you start fucking calling him a piece of shit, then now you're reinforcing the idea that you don't like him. And then you go and you talk to him for an hour and a half about how he should leave the fucking Mormon religion and that he's a piece of shit for judging everybody because he was born into a religion that it's fucking wild. And I agree. But listen, I don't think that the Mormon religion is the only wild religion. Catholicism's fucking crazy. All of them are crazy. The Mormon religion is just interesting because it's very specific to the United States. They're everywhere now, but it started in the U.S., so it's very specific to us. It's like Scientology. It's the same way of like L. Ron Hubbard started it here. You know, fucking what's his name? Joseph Smith started Mormonism here. So it's very specific to the U.S., so we kind of fixate on it. So when you fucking reinforce the idea that you don't like him or you think he's weird or you judge him for that shit, and in his mind, because he has Asperger's, it seems very, very real to him. And no one wants to fucking accept that. And I've talked to so many people about it. I'm like, maybe if you just take a step back and realize that he has Asperger's and realize what comes with that, then you need, like you just need to realize like take that in, like put that in your mind before you start talking to him. And maybe we'd be able to connect with him a little bit better, But everyone can do what the fuck they want. I'm not gonna tell anybody what to do, but
and it is a little weird too, because I'm pretty sure not a lot of people understand it in your aspect either. They're just like, again, he's probably pushing this kind of religion or this kind of aspect of person that he is on us without even.
No, it's because he is that person. It's kind of like when we tell him to party, it's because we party, and it's fun to us to party. To him, it isn't as fun. Who the fuck are we to say that he's wrong for not partying?
It's horrible.
Then then when you turn around and you go, who the fuck are you for telling me I should live my life better? Well, you're telling him to fucking break his religious vows that he made. Like, you're the same exact person, but you're just saying the opposite thing, and because you live that life, you think you're right.
Yeah.
That just is what it is. And so that's why, like, I don't think me and him are, as close as some other people are with him, but for sure, like, I feel like I'm one of the only people that, like, actually see that. And it probably is because I have a baby sister with Down syndrome, so, like, I'm really close to the mental health shit and the learning disability shit. Like, I understand that because, like, I've been to autism walks and fucking Asperger shit, so I get that. But, like, we all kind of love him. Like, we all do. Like, none of us genuinely hate him. None of us think he's... Like, we all kind of like clowning on him. But, like, when he cares hard. When he fucking brings food every week, like, you can't deny it. Like, he gives a fuck about us. The fact that we've been so hard on him and he keeps coming back shows that he gives a fuck about us. And if you don't see that, then you're the piece of shit. Like, it just is what it is. So, but also, like, Evan, I'm talking specifically to you, lighten up a little bit, like, I don't, like, and
ditch the religion. You're fine.
Ditch the religion.
Just let
like,
it go.
And that's the thing that sucks too, is because, like, I agree. Like, I think Mormonism fucking sucks.
And it does kind of influence you
and it does influence you, but I want you to know that, like, I get why you are the way you are. Like, I don't want you to think that everyone here is fucking ignorant to you, and then everyone ignorant to you the way you talk. And that's why sometimes I don't talk to him as much, because, like, everyone that talks to him is trying to change his mind, and I'm not. I don't give a fuck what anybody believes. You can believe in fucking whatever the fuck you want to believe. All I'm here for is to do stand-up comedy and fucking live another day, right? Like, that's all I'm here for. So, like, if you're trying to fucking... even with Six Sun, I love Six Sun. By the way, I got to shout out some shit. We got the John Saponaro show coming up June 4th and 5th. I don't know if... Well, this is live. So, yeah, come to that fucking show. It's going to be dope. We always have dope shows. I think, personally, we have the best quality show around. We're the only people that kind of give a fuck about production. Like, just come to that show. It's June 4th and 5th. We got one at Kilcheck. I think it's the first show's at Kilcheck. The next show's at 50/50. Or no, sorry. The first show's at Kilcheck and the second one's at B2B Brewery. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Sick Sun. Like, your son is sick. SickSun.com. Go to that shit. Check it out. We're doing shit. We're trying to make Albuquerque comedy better.
He's bringing shit back. I mean, especially after everything
we're trying hard, dude. And we're trying to connect people. Like, even if you have beef with fucking whoever, Troy, Sam, just know that, like, I'm here and Carla's here now. Like, we don't give
Tyler.
a fuck. And Tyler, well, I don't know if he lives with us. I don't think he's part of Six Sun.
He's Six Sun.
I guess he is. He's a Six Sun for sure, but
especially, I'm pretty sure in that house, you guys are doing shit together.
We're all trying to do some shit, and we all have kind of our own ideas. But what I was talking about with the Six Sun shit, though, is, and the reason I mentioned me and Carla specifically, is we're trying to bring comedy back for all the comedians. Like, we're not like I can't speak for anyone else, but I know for sure me and Carla are just trying to unite everyone again. And like we're trying to make everyone realize that like we're all different people. And if you're going to ban someone or isolate people just because you don't agree with them and you want to shut shit down and you want to like run Albuquerque comedy the way you want to run it, then I think you're wrong. Like I think Albuquerque comedy in general is supposed to be for everyone. Obviously you're not going to like one, you know, some comics you'll like over the other, you're allowed to. But like just because you like one comic more does not mean you got to ban every other comic. Or just because a comic banned you doesn't mean you got to talk shit on them all the time and make them seem like the worst person in the world because you decided not to follow the rules of that show or whatever. Like,
or
we all need to be favoritism, all that shit. Like, we all need to stop fucking trying to fucking run this shit, and we all need to work together and try to run it together instead of like, my idea is the best idea and it's the only way we should run shit, so I'm never going to support your shit because I think we should run it this way. I hate that shit more than anything. I hate bringing people down. I hate on either side. If you're fucking banning people from your mic because either you don't like them, you don't like a joke they made. If you're banning people from your mic, I think you're wrong. But also, if you just don't like someone or the way they run shit or the way they produce their shows or whatever, if they're producing a show and they invite me to be on it, I'm always going to be on it. I want to do stand-up. That's all I want to do. All I want to do is stand-up. I don't necessarily think there's any way we should be running it. Albuquerque's a fucking diverse city. We should be running it like it's a diverse city. There's people that won't want to show up to Six Sun shows because maybe they don't, you know, like the comics that are on those shows. And I cannot hate those people for doing it. But hopefully I get to be on a show that they do show up on and they can see me and they can see a show that I'm, you know what I mean? Like, we got to stop fucking hating each other so much and like all this bullshit beef. None of us like went to high school together. Like none of us fucking, I'm from Texas, and maybe it is because I'm from Texas and I don't really give a fuck about Albuquerque that much. I give a fuck about comedy way more than Albuquerque. Yeah. And I love Albuquerque now. Like I've been here long enough to start to really love this place, but it sucks to like that I have to sometimes choose between like one show or the other, one group or the other. Like, why should I have to do that? I'm me always. Even though I work with Six Sun, I'm not Six Sun. I'm fucking Caleb Mulkey.
You hear that, promoters? He's here for everybody.
Every goddamn show. If you want me on it, put me on that shit.
He just does not do He does kids parties. He does bar mitzvahs.
I do kids parties, bar mitzvahs. I do the juvenile jail sometimes.
Jail.
You know, I can fold balloons. I can only make a dog or a snake, but I'm getting there.
No, he'll do the comedy. You know? You'll go there and
I'll do stand up.
Show.
Yeah, I'll talk about fucking
everything,
world religions. I'll talk about all of it, man. But yeah, dude, for real, like what the fuck is this beef that's happening? It's so dumb.
It makes no sense, dude.
And it makes it hard for me to talk to people because I feel like I'm obligated to fucking care about one person, and because they don't care about this other person or they hate this other person, now I'm not allowed to care or talk with this other person. Like what the fuck?
I don't know. You just have to try, like you said, just be your own genuine, nice, good person, and if they don't like you, they don't like you, and if they don't like the people that you associate with, and that's on them. Like that's the shittiest part about it too. Like I always see that shit when I go into like any mic now, where I'm just like, hey, I'll say hi to everybody, but I'm obviously gonna say hi and treat who I like better.
Yeah, and and obviously I'm homies with people a lot more. Like obviously I like Sam and I like Troy because they're the ones that I'm homies with. I like fucking you. I like all the people that I've met just recently, and I became real good friends with fucking like. There's so many people: Tyler, Jared, Eister. You know, like all these people that I really give a fuck about. Bear, even I give a fuck about certain people just because they've been willing to like talk to me and have conversations with me and involve me in their shit, and like they've all, you know, like cared about me, so I'm gonna care about them. But like I hope that one day I can become better friends with some of the people that seem like I'm not as good friends with, and I hope that like Zach Abeda and Josh, I love them, but I hope that I don't think I need to bring them down. I don't think I need to ever bring them down, but I can say for a fact I hope that I'm better than them someday. You know what I mean?
striving-
Like, I don't
yeah.
need to ruin their shit because I don't like them. Because I do like them. I like the way they're doing shit. I hope to be like they are being one day. But at the same time,
You want to do
there's
stuff.
no way I'm going to be like them. If I'm bringing them down, all I'm doing is bringing them to my level. The only way to beat them is to get better than them. And hopefully they invite me to be on one of their shows one day. And they invite me to fucking go to one of their fucking outdoor, you know, like the fucking out of state shows and shit. Like I would love that more than anything. And I'm never gonna not accept that just because they're fucking doing better than me. And like, that's such bullshit, dude. Like, it just blows my mind when people are like that. Like, I'm just like, how about you be better? Like, how have you been here forever in Albuquerque, where we just talked about how there's one mic a day?
Yeah.
Like, how are you not in Austin yet? How are you not in, you know, fucking LA or New York yet? Like, let's stop acting like just because they're the best in Albuquerque right now doesn't mean you can never be better than them. Like, that's so stupid.
Somewhere else, even.
Or somewhere else. Yeah,
Yeah.
for real. Like, I think I'm better than a lot of people here. And comedy is like 50% ego for sure.
Yeah,
like,
very subjective.
yeah.
Very.
But I also don't think I need to bring anybody down or talk shit on anybody just to be a better comic. That's
Yeah,
so
right.
dumb.
Like you go to like a morning talk show or something, you're just like, yeah, unfortunately
fuck
the
these
comics
guys.
that I work with. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that.
That makes no sense. Anyways, Caleb, we've been here for like 2 hours and
Oh, really?
yeah, I've been here for a while.
Jesus.
Give
Good
him
talk.
hell, dude. Just chill, fucking get wasted, hang out, chill.
Oh, can I plug my own shit?
Yeah.
Instead of okay, so obviously sixon.com. Check that out. We always got tickets. We always got shows going on. But my own shit, follow me on Instagram, Mulkey_97. But it's MULKY_97. I think I'm Caleb Mulkey on Facebook. Be friends with me. Don't go too far back.
Do you have any Twitter or anything like that?
I think I'm Caleb Mulkey on Twitter. I might be. I'm not on Twitter a lot, but definitely if you want to follow me on there and that's what you got, follow me. You could probably look up Caleb Mulkey and I'd be at least the second. I'm the only guy that looks like this. So,
and you said you had a few shows coming up too, right?
I do. I don't have any shows personally, but Six Sun, we're hosting John Saponaro, the 4th and the 5th. One of them's at Kiltcheck Brewery, and one of them's at the B2B Garden Brewery. You can find the tickets on sixsun.com. Fucking go buy the tickets. I promise you'll love that shit. Like, he's the John Saponaro, by the way, he's dope. He's the guy that fucking does like the announcing for the Monster Jam. Like, this guy's a big deal. Like, he's not, you know, this ain't just a homie. He's dope. And then any shows I have, like, just go on, if you follow me on any of my social media. I'm pretty sure if you just look up Caleb Mulkey on whatever. I'm on TikTok. Oh, on TikTok, my name's weird. It's there, like THEYRE _stanzos. I'll eventually fix that. I just don't know how yet.
We'll just probably have to start a new one.
I think I probably will. It's not great, but you can follow me on TikTok if you want. It's there stanzos. _stanzos, like they are _stanzos.
Yeah.
Look me up. I think you can type in Caleb Mulkey on it and it'll come up with that too. But their stanzas, it's a fucking, I think you should leave reference. But other than that, yeah, that's what I got going on.
Hell yeah.
I will have shows coming up. That's where you'll find them, is on all of my social media.
Make sure to follow him on all social media, guys. Shout out to everybody that was in the chat. Everyone's still here. You guys are awesome. Check this shit out. Matt Blank, thank you. Crawl and Brawls. Douglas Mike, Carl Bomber. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys for joining. We'll be back sometime this week. I really need to just start scheduling people more, because what I'm doing is I'm just like, hey, are you guys, you want to do a podcast? I don't have people like, hey, you're coming in tomorrow on Tuesday. Let's get it over with, and let's get Wednesday. So I'll get a little bit more scheduled and get some more stuff going. Make sure to look me up social media wise. MuseMe TV. Just fucking Google it. I swear to God, I'll be the first thing that pops up.
Literally on Snapchat too.
You guys are awesome. You guys make sure to love everybody.